Hello, it's me. Oh, did I just ruin the illusion? Don't look over here. Don't look behind the curtain. I swear I'm streaming live from the Paris Opera House. The real one, not just my bedroom. Hello, welcome to Found a Phantom. You have found a phantom. And I am your host, Kevin Vonesper. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. If not, go check it out with Rory, the backstage costumer for Carlotta on Broadway. Wow, what a treat to kind of learn a little bit about the backstage world on Broadway. And tonight, you requested it, you're getting it. The continuation of book club, something I started probably like a year ago and then got sidetracked and started doing solo episodes, which were just not as fun. I like to balance the conversation and bounce off of people. I swear, the last time I did book club, I took a nap after my boring day job that I don't talk about. And then I woke up just in time for the show. I did the show solo and then looked at my phone and found out that I had missed the news of the day, which was Phantom closing on Broadway. I was like, oh no. I was right there at the right time and I did not react to it because I didn't even know about it. So the closing kind of uh took the show in a different turn and I haven't been back to book club. But here we are, we're back to book club. We're going to go over box 5, which is 2 chapters, technically, or 1. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the translation. We're going to find out with a phantom historian today. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about here today on Bound a Phantom. Bound a Phantom. Bound a Phantom. Bound a Phantom. Hello, Christine Townsend.
Hello.
Welcome to Found a Phantom. Do you like my little phantom illustrations?
I love it so much. It's so cute.
Yeah, I'm not really an artist, but I did those myself several years ago when this show was going to be the Phantom Phenomenon, as I was mentioning earlier, with a F. But now that it's a live streaming show, it is rebranded. Hello, how are you? You just got back from Broadway, right?
Yep, I'm good. Um, very glad to be home, but also missing Broadway already.
Yeah, there must be a drop after a vacation like that. Tell us where did you go and what was the itinerary? Like, tell me all the things. How long were you here?
So I was only there for 3 whole days. I got there on Monday, and the first thing I did was go see Phantom. Then on Tuesday, pretty much the only thing I did was go see Phantom. Wednesday, I saw Phantom again, and then I saw the evening
So,
show of Camelot. Yeah, 3
wow,
times.
3 times in 3 days.
Yes.
Um, so you went on a Monday, you saw Greg Mills?
No, I saw Ted Keegan.
Oh, did you know? Isn't that Mondays usually Greg?
Mondays has been rotating lately.
Okay.
So I knew it was gonna be Ted. I got tickets specifically to see Ted, um, because I knew it wasn't gonna be Ben Crawford and I wanted to see whoever it was.
Had you seen
But
Ben
Ted was
Crawford before?
yes, I've seen Ben Crawford 8 times. I love him
Oh,
very
wow.
much. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Ben Crawford, but he
Yeah,
wasn't
you
on
want to
it
see
all this
something
week.
different. Oh.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
I did
Maybe
miss
he's
him.
preparing for the final. Is he gonna be the final Phantom,
He should be. Unless
you
something
think?
happens, he's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's yeah, I've seen him twice, but they were both like within the next like 2 months of each other. I
Yeah.
saw the 35th anniversary performance in January.
Oh, I'm
I kind of
jealous.
just like stumbled my way into that one. I did not plan on it at all. Which
Yeah.
is the best way to find out you're gonna go see Phantom. Last row, last almost last seat of the last section. but still I
Ouch.
was in the room, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I saw him again. I did shows about if you wanna hear me talk at length about these experiences, I have previous episodes where I talk about this, but I saw it front row, front center last time. So I feel like if
Oh my
that
gosh.
I did not win the lottery, so that's gonna be my last show is front row center, Ben Crawford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great view though.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate myself for the rest of my life if I didn't get to see it at least once, like, from that
Yeah.
perspective. Like, I've always only seen it from the mezzanine, actually. I mean, I've you've seen Ben Crawford 8 times, I may have seen the show, like, 8 times in, like, the last 30 years, so, you know, plus one Love Never Dies, but that's different.
Ah, I've never seen Love Never Dies live.
I saw it on tour, I guess last time they did it, like, before the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was I got to see it, you know? It's Love Never Dies. Well, my favorite
Yeah.
part of that one was, you know, the part where he's outside of her window and then it just kind of magically, like, opens up and he's there? I
Yes.
think their mechanics were a little wonky that day, so, like, it would had already kinda swung open and the Phantom kinda just, like, hopped into it. Like, it was totally not supposed to
Oh,
be that way, but it was just like, "Oh, no."
that sounds so funny though.
Yeah, it was funny because most people probably have no idea, but I was just like, "No, this is a disaster."
Oh man.
Touring productions, man, I'm sure that's pretty wearing on all the technology.
Yeah.
But anyways, tell me about Ted Keegan, Phantom of the Opera. I don't really know much about him.
I didn't really either, other than he's been there for like 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he's had a really long run.
Just as
And
a swing,
since
has he just been everything? Probably.
yeah, he's normally in the ensemble. He does one of the Umuto tracks. Sometimes you can see him in Hannibal. So he's pretty much always in the show, but he used to, I think he was like the principal Phantom for the tour, like
Mm.
in the early 90s. And now he's still understudies. And because he was such an early Phantom, that's still very much a part of his portrayal. He's a very old school Phantom, and it's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, the major differences in his performance versus, say, a Ben Crawford, which is the
Ooh,
newest, school of Phantom.
yeah. Ben Crawford, I really like Ben Crawford, but every night with Ben Crawford is a different performance, and he's making different choices and
Hmm.
just
I mean,
really
he must be bored of it by now. No offense, but,
maybe.
like, you can't do a role for that many years, the same exact thing every night and, like, still really be into it. It's just not possible.
Yeah. Ted Keegan feels like he's had a lot more time to kind of think about how he wants to portray his Phantom. So he's got like very intentional moves and he's very gentle with Christine, but all of his highs are high, like in the right ways. Like during Stranger Than You Dreamt It, he's angry, he's growling, he's on the floor.
That's the
And
scene where I kinda mark, like, what kind of Phantom you are, you know?
yeah,
Like, no again, like Ben Crawford's great and he's very nice when you meet him outside,
yeah,
um, but I didn't feel that wrath, you know, and that, like, passion and, like, dynamics of mood in that song, and that's the one where you kinda grab I don't know, like, that's where he shows everything.
yeah. And Ted gets so angry, and then he's so pathetic, and he's just sliding
That's
along the
great.
floor, and it's excellent, and then he's literally sobbing by the time he says her name. And
That's what I
Ben
wanna
Crawford
hear.
gives a great performance, but his Stranger Than You Dreamt It has always been, like, a weaker moment of his performance for me,
I
for
agree.
that reason.
Yeah. Both times I was just like, "No, go for it, man." Whatever.
Yeah,
It's cool. He's, like, technically perfect,
yeah.
but it's all those little things that kind of, like, you know again, no discredit, I'm sure some nights it's just like you do this every day exactly the same for how many years? That's crazy.
I
Well, who
saw him
yeah, go ahead.
oh, uh I saw him 4 nights in a row, November, and so it was a different performance
Hmm,
every night, and, like, some nights it's like, "Yeah, you got it, man, like, this is great," and then some nights it's like, "Oh, no, maybe don't
yeah.
do that."
Do you think it has to do with, like, who his Christine is?
Well, it was Emily pretty much the entire time,
Mhm.
and it still, like, varied a lot, so I just think it's whatever he's feeling that night.
Hmm, yeah. Who else did you see this week?
This week, I saw Jeremy Stoll twice. Yes.
Man, I really wanna see Jeremy. So I met him once, I was working, I was actually filming a, like, benefit sort of performance type thing, and one of the performers they had was Stoll, and he went up, he told, like, some phantom story and, like, sang music of the night, and then I got my picture with him afterwards. It was really cool. That dude is huge.
He is, he's so tall.
But ever since, and
He's so much
this was years ago, like, probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe now? I don't know,
yeah,
time has been weird the last few years, but it was definitely, like, probably a few years before the pandemic, so I've always wanted to see him. I've seen him, do little parts in it, but
yeah. I've seen him 4 times now as the
right,
Phantom.
hello, Nico. Jeremy is so tall. Yeah, yeah. Your friends are rolling in? I was second rolling, damn, he blew me away. Oh, man. Was is this your friend? Were you with this person, or
I don't know.
Oh, who are you, Nico? Do we
Possibly.
know you? Made it, yes. Oh, man. I know, now that Phantom's leaving, it's like, I should actually go see other Broadway shows because 'cause I've just basically focused on that one for the last 30 years.
No.
Because it's like, if I'm
I
there, I don't know, I'm gonna see I'm not like a Broadway fan so much as I'm a Phantom fan, and I think Broadway is cool, you know?
yeah. We always catch a couple other shows when we go, but we basically go to New York for Phantom.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I guess where were you sitting each night? Like, what were your range of seats?
So, for Monday night, I was in the rear mezzanine, about the middle, so it was a decent view. Tuesday, I was 4th row of the front mezzanine, and then Wednesday, I was standing room.
Standing room. What's
Yes.
that?
That's where you stand for 2.5 hours at the back of the orchestra, and you have an obstructed view, but you only pay
At the
$30 to
back
be
of the
there.
orchestra level?
Yeah.
Wow, I want those. How do you get those?
You have to go the day of the show to the box office to get them in person.
Oh,
I got
man.
really lucky because my friend went, over 2 hours early before the box office opened to get them, but now people are getting there, like, 3 to 4 hours before the box
Right.
office even opens to get those tickets.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
You gotta be really committed. I was like, "I can't do that either."
I like it's kinda like, if I'm not gonna see it, the final performance, front row center is pretty good end, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, I don't wanna diminish it. Though I'd
Yeah.
like to see another different person play the Phantom, but it's just not gonna happen.
I wanted Greg Mills's Phantom more than
I wanna
anything.
see him so bad, and I don't even know
So
why. I
bad.
just think he's like, well, first of all, I'm a photographer and I fucking love his photos, like, I'm such a
Yeah.
fan. I requested the rat catcher and I got the rat catcher. I'm gonna take full credit for that
Nice.
one. I
I loved
literally,
that
like,
photo.
tagged him, was like, and talked about it on the show. I'm like, I've never seen the rat catcher. Like, you hardly even see him when you're watching the show. You gotta know exactly where to look for him for like 2 seconds in the dark. And if you're in the back of the
Yeah.
theater, good luck. I wanna see what that looks like. It's a little disappointing, but
Yeah.
still, finally got to see it, and I'm gonna take full credit for that one.
That photo helped me when I looked at it this trip to see, like, what I was actually seeing, and I was
Exactly,
like,
because
"Oh,
it's
that's
just
his
like a guy
stash."
kinda runs down ru I mean, what a
Yeah.
missed opportunity, though, like, Andrew Lloyd Webber couldn't figure out something with a glowing face, come on.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity there.
I didn't
But
even realize before reopening that the rat catcher was even there, like, was he even there?
I don't know.
I don't remember him being there. I
It's
need to
like
check.
I know, and I always look at, like, even, like, the 25th anniversary concert and stuff, like, I don't think he's there. I've never seen him. If they didn't, they would've put a camera
He's
on him, don't you think?
yeah, no, he's not in the 25th.
And I've like, I have some we all have seen some bootlegs, but they're so dark that, like, it's such a detail, you would miss it at no matter.
Yeah,
It's so crazy. Yeah,
yep,
I specifically looked at for him this time, when I was front row center, because 'cause I'm like, "I'm gonna be able to see it this time," and I did, and even then, it was, like, really hard to
yeah. It's so
catch the
quick.
rat catcher.
And sometimes, depending on who's being the rat catcher that night, by the time the lights even come up, he's already almost gone.
Yeah, I wonder who runs that track usually, that'd be an
Yeah,
interesting thing to find out. I'd love to see a list of, like, the tracks, just literally,
yeah,
who's I know they're named after their masquerade characters, but who's the rat catcher?
yeah.
Oh, I did that one, let's see. I saw the rat catcher only because I was staring at Paul the whole time.
I can't relate.
Who's Paul?
Paul Schaefer was, Principal Ralph for a bit.
Oh.
He's just been,
Right, yeah,
moved
yeah, he
back.
passes right in front of him, right? Him and Meg right before he jumps off the bridge, right?
Yeah, him and Madame Giry.
Yeah, yeah, Madame Jury, my bad.
Yep.
Um, so, you got some cool phantom booty from New York?
Yes,
What
yes, I
what what
did.
are your highlights of that? And if you have them around, feel free to show and tell.
Um, let's see. Well, I already put my poster up on the wall, or
Yeah,
I would
I
show
did
you.
see it. Go check out the Instagram or wherever else you could see that. Man, I don't think that was available when I last was there, but I wonder if I
Yeah,
can buy
even though
it from
it's
the online store.
they don't seem to have them, but
Hmm,
apparently on April 17th, they'll be putting any leftover merch up on their website, so they might be
okay.
there.
Yeah,
They've been selling out of them really bad, because people have been relisting them, reselling them for a lot, but,
yeah, I hope so are they gonna reprint them, you think? Just I
I
mean,
hope
make that
so,
money, right? That's what it's all
right?
about, really.
Yeah. That's why they're doing all these special playbills lately.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was more, there was an Andrew Lloyd Webber one.
Yeah, I actually have that one
Did
right
you Yeah,
here.
I only knew about that 'cause of your yeah, that wasn't one of the shows you went to, right?
No, this was, March 22nd. A friend grabbed this for me, and then I met up with her yesterday, to
That's
get
so
it.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have the 35th one, and I went to the 30th too, so I have that one,
nice.
but I don't know if I have any other, like, special I don't really need to collect I mean, that's cool. I have to limit my collection in some way, and I will buy toys. If you put out a Phantom toy, I have it, but collecting every
Yeah.
playbill, that's, like, a little bit more bottom of the list for me,
I think I have
unless
every
I was
limited
there.
edition.
Mm,
Yeah. I think I have all of the limited edition playbills except for the 10th anniversary.
wow.
That is the only one that's very hard to find,
It's
and
not where
I
it ends, it's just that's not my focus, like, there's so much like, I guess my priority is, like, Blu-rays and DVDs, you know, um, toys, and then music if there's, like, I don't know, a different just other versions of the story, like, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Phantom is such a specific collection, and mine's a little bit more broad. So,
yeah.
it's cool to have all that stuff, but as you will see from all the stuff that you can't see on my side, all these books, like, I will buy books too, Gaston Leroux books for the most part, or
Yeah.
versions of it. I haven't totally got into the fanfic world, but we're gonna talk about that later too.
I'm the kind of person where if it's Phantom of the Opera or even just Phantom of the Opera related, I need it.
I
I
want
don't
it,
limit
but I
myself.
just need to focus, you know what I mean? I
I think
just
that's great because I don't have a focus, so mine's all over the
I
place.
still have a
Money is all
closet,
over the place.
um, 3 shelves of a closet full of Phantom stuff.
Oh my god.
So
I've seen, like, the toys and stuff, and I'm so jealous. I'm like, "I didn't even know a lot of these existed."
right, yeah, and I still find stuff that I didn't know existed. There's versions of these toys even that, like, I didn't know. It's
Nice.
definitely not a complete collection, but I guess my collection, the weirder, the better, you know? So if it's, like, obscure or weird, or if it's a Iron Maiden Phantom of the Opera or a Gremlins Phantom of the Opera, that's, like, top of the list. I want, like, the weirdest versions of the Phantom.
Yeah.
Um, how okay, let's take it way back. How did you first find Phantom of the Opera? Like, what's your origin story?
Okay, well, I was 12 years old, and, I had a new piano teacher that was trying to get to know me, and she was like, "Based on what I know about you, you must be a huge Phantom of the Opera fan." And I was like, "I don't know what that is."
Why? What did they
So,
what what did they know about you?
she came to the conclusion that I was a hopeless romantic, and she wasn't wrong. But, I had never heard of Phantom, so she gave me All I Ask of You, and she gave me a synopsis of Phantom that was really weird and not at all accurate,
Oh, I wanna
but
hear. Do you remember what
she
it was? Vaguely.
the main thing I remember is that she said at the end that you see Christine's grave and the Phantom comes up and he's singing and crying and weeping over her grave. I'm like,
What? I
"That
I
doesn't
don't know. I
happen."
don't think that happens in any version of Phantom.
It doesn't. I don't know where that came from. But
Interesting.
she assigned All I Ask of You to me and told me to go look it up, and I did, and I thought it was the most boring song ever. I
It's not the best intro to Phantom.
no. But I was on YouTube, and so over on the side, there was the title song. So I clicked on that, and I watched it on repeat for the rest of the night because my mind was just blown.
Was it the music
A
video, or what did you watch?
It was from the movie with, Gerard
Oh,
Butler.
okay. Got you.
Yeah, which I'm a huge fan of. I know a lot of
Well,
people don't care for it, but I love it.
I have, I guess, complicated opinions about it? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna show my age here, but I got into Phantom when I was about 11 years old, and it was 1993 or 4.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
was a fan of Phantom for a good 10 years before that movie came out. So that's where a lot of my collection comes from,
Yeah,
from all of that time.
that makes
And
sense.
then I was like, well, I have to love this because it's a movie version of my favorite thing. But where are all the colors? Why is he not there's so many problems with it. The more I
That's yeah.
think about it, there's more problems I have with it.
One of my favorite things is, like, pulling it apart, but I also love it, you know?
You pull apart the things that you love. That's what we do here on Found of Phantom. I can pull apart every version of Phantom of the Opera, probably including the original novel to an extent, but
Yeah,
that's kinda why I love it. Like, it's so flawed that it makes it interesting to me.
yeah,
And even the play is like a very flawed version of the original story, but it is so uniquely weird in its own way that it's beautiful, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, what the sex doll, man? Like, that is not necessary, but it's funny to me, like, it's so interesting. Why is that there?
yeah,
Stuff like that. Um,
yeah.
what were we talking about? I totally went off the rails here. Oh, the movie. I mean, well, I guess probably my biggest problem with it, looking at it now, is that, Emmy Rossum was just not the right age. As much as I love her, I actually and, like, Shameless, I love Shameless. Um, she was literally like a teenager. That is a problem. There's not gonna be any kind of romantic energy between her and, like, a full-grown adult man.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue.
I guess because I got into it at 12 and, like, I didn't even consider that part of it until
No,
later.
I didn't even think about it. I had no idea how old she was at the time.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I look past it because, like, at this point, the movie came out 20 years ago, and I could be upset about it, but, like, it's done. She had a really
Yeah.
great experience. She's talked about how everybody on that set, including her parents and Gerard and Patrick, like, worked to make sure that she was safe and comfortable at all times. So, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it
I'm
is
not
what
gonna
it
let
is.
that
I mean, I definitely
stop
own
me.
it, like, several times, so it's not like they didn't get my money. I definitely went
Yeah.
to the movie theater, like, multiple times when it came out.
God,
Like,
I wish I could
I
have gone to see it in the theater.
Oh, yeah,
That would be so cool.
I wish I had this show back then so I could have documented my, like, immediate reaction to it, because I don't really remember, it's, like, so long ago now.
Yeah.
But what I always did say is, "Oh, man, it's gonna be at least 20 years until someone even considers remaking this." But guess what? It's about that time. So, I know Ryan Johnson has expressed interest in it, just fucking give it to him. Like, it's
Yeah,
time for Phantom like, it's closing on Broadway, it's time for legacy phase, like, we can reboot this for a new generation and let someone who actually cares about it do it.
yeah.
That's what I have to say about the movie. Sidetrack, yeah, this is how it's gonna go tonight. So yeah, so you were 12 years old and you found Phantom. What happened next?
I basically just kind of spiraled into it. My grandparents had the DVD, so I stole it from their house, and I also stole the highlight CD with Michael and Sarah, and just watched it like every night. My mother humored me, and she liked it too, so she let me. And
Did your
I just
parents
kind
have
of,
any relation to it, like, from when they were growing up?
not really.
Mhm.
My dad actually did get to see it on tour when Robert Guillaume was the Phantom back in the 90s. Um, and all he really said was that it was really good. Like, great. But that's it.
So what was the next after the play and the musical, I mean, and the movie, what was the next, like, version of it that you discovered? And was it the book?
Yeah, the book came along at some point pretty early on. I got a copy of it, and got obsessed with it. But
Really?
I think yeah, I know, shocker. But I think the Robert Englund one actually came next.
You know,
I
I think
really
the
liked
same
that
for
one.
me, just because back then, it was pre-movies on the internet, if the internet was very hardly a thing at all even,
Yeah,
um it was the only one you could find in the video store because it was relatively new at the time,
yeah.
back in the mid-90s when I was looking for it. So that was actually the easiest one to find. And yeah, I still have a love for that movie to this day. It's actually if you get it on Blu-ray, it's beautiful. The
Oh,
transfer is magnificent. Brad Little is a great director. It's again, it's flawed in its own unique ways, but who doesn't love Robert Englund? I don't know if you're a horror fan in general, but like I grew up on Nightmare on Elm Street, so hell yeah,
yeah.
let's have him rip people's faces off in Phantom of the Opera. Like that's a
Yeah,
unique take. I'm here for it.
it's one of my favorites of all the versions, honestly.
It's actually one of the most accurate to the book in some ways too,
Yeah.
which is
And I
amazing.
think Robert Englund did an excellent job. I would have loved to see their planned sequel, and I know that we kind of got it, but, like, I would have
Dance
loved to see the
Macabre, have you ever
actual,
seen
like
it?
yes. And he does great because he's great in everything,
Yeah,
but
I
I
have it
would have
on
liked to
Blu-ray.
see
I watched it like a bad quality version of it online once, but I finally have it on
yeah,
Blu-ray and I'm waiting to do a show where I talk about it, so I'm gonna watch it for that. But I'm excited. It's been a while. I
yeah.
don't remember it being great, but again, like
No.
it's Robert Englund and it's a Phantom sequel, sort of. I
Yeah.
know, I would have
It
loved to
counts
see
in
that
my heart.
too. Yeah, I think people
Yes.
generally love it, which is strange because it's I don't know, it's pretty gruesome. It's pretty messed up.
People typically, for me, like, seem to go one of 2 ways, where they either, like, they really liked it, really enjoyed it, or they absolutely hated it because it's too gruesome, and, like, I've heard a lot of people say it gave them nightmares. Um,
It's
so
it's pro
there's
I
no
mean,
middle of the road,
but
people.
isn't that good? Like, contrasting Gerard Butler and Robert Englund, if you can even do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you want your phantom to induce nightmares, like, that is the correct phantom. You need to be scared of this man, and, like, too many versions make him, I don't know, too lovable. He's supposed to be a monster.
But the Cloud Rain's Phantom is so gentle. Too gentle.
Yeah, I'm well, he that's that whole premise is flawed for me just because he turns into the phantom during the movie, you know?
Yeah,
It's like he's
there
not
is
born a
that.
monster, he just happens to become one for, like, a week or 2 or so whatever the time length of that movie is.
Yeah,
It's a little, eh. But yeah, I mean, he's a better Invisible Man.
yeah. He's not scary at all.
No. No, exactly. Yeah. Well, I want a scary phantom. What is okay, what would be your ideal, like, dream, version of Phantom of the Opera? Like, that we I like to talk about that here. Like, I always when we get into the book chapters, I like to imagine it as if I'm telling Hollywood, like, how to direct this movie, like, properly.
Hmm. I don't
Is that
know.
too broad of a question?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I've always thought that Richard E. Grant would make, like, an excellent Phantom, and I would love to see
Who
that
is that?
happen.
What do I know him from?
I don't know. He's an actor. I know he did, First Night with Sarah Brightman, and they're both really good in that, but he's got the right vibe for me where I feel like he would be excellent.
But as, like, a Weber Phantom or a LaRue Phantom?
Probably a more LaRue Phantom.
Hmm. And he
Yeah.
did what with Sarah Brightman?
There's a movie called First Night.
Wait, she's in movies?
She's in 2
I
movies.
mean, the only one I'm a big fan of Repo the Genetic Opera,
Yeah.
but I never knew about the other one
Yeah, the other one's a really cute, like, opera rom-com that she's in.
from the '90s?
No,
Oh,
it's old, but it's not super old. I don't know if it's that old
is
actually,
it,
but
like,
no,
before or after the musical movie? I gotta look this
after,
up.
I think.
Well, wow, okay, I gotta look that up. When she's a lead
Mhm.
or is she just in it?
She's a prominent character.
She seems like she would be kinda aged out of the lead kind of romantic role in the movie at
Well,
that time.
you'll have to see the movie, like, it makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I mean, yeah, now I'm excited. I love again, phantom related things. I mean,
yeah,
my favorite thing about Sarah Brightman is, I fell in love with a Starship Trooper, so the weirder the better for me, like, "Can you believe this exists?" You know what I'm talking about, right?
yes.
I
I
have it
love
on
that video of
vinyl.
her so much.
Yeah, and there's another one too, I forget what it's called, but they have 2 songs. I have them both on
Yeah,
vinyl, and they both have
that's
music
awesome.
videos, and it's just that's the weirdness that I like.
Well, and I love the old music videos for Phantom with Steve Harley.
I
Oh
love
my
that
god.
too. I always say I love, we all love the musical as it is, and it's kind of, like, perfect in its own weird way, but I wanna see that version too, like, the off the rails guitar solo, like, '80s rock opera that it's supposed to be version.
Yeah,
I want
me
that.
too,
So, Andrew, I don't know. I think he's gone doing Bad Cinderella, I guess.
I guess.
Have you listened to it at all, or I haven't really.
No, I've heard a little bit
I saw the
against my
theater,
will.
outside of
Y
the exit of Phantom. It's right
Yeah, they
across the
now have
street.
people, when you leave the show, they have people stationed at the door handing out flyers to Bad Cinderella. It's
Smart.
so annoying.
I'd
No,
take one. No, you don't like that?
no,
Hey,
I don't.
it's like,
I took
if you
one, but
just
I don't
came
know
out
where I
of an
put it.
Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, it's pretty smart marketing.
Yeah, like, I get why they're doing it, I just hate it because I hate Bad Cinderella.
I haven't really listened to it's strange, I was just talking to someone about this, but, like, I know some of Andrew Lloyd Webber's other stuff, but I really haven't dove too deep into it, which is kind of weird for someone who's been following this for 30 whatever years.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm actually seeing Cats tomorrow.
is it on tour?
Yeah.
Oh, because
It
I know
it's
it's
here
not
in my
on
city.
Broadway anymore.
No, I did see it. I saw the revival on Broadway in 2016, but
I
it's
saw
it's
the
here in my city
original,
right
I
now.
think. Well, I
Nice.
saw it in the '90s, so it must have been the original, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
It's
I
weird, but
like
I like
Cats,
cats.
I mean, it's, like, stupid, but, like, you have to that's fine, I like stupid, as long as you know what you're getting into. It's some
Yeah,
good
like,
s
it's just a
entertaining
fun
songs,
show.
it's entertaining, and I
Yeah.
don't know if it was like this, when you were there, but when I was there, it's not just on stage, the cats that are not on stage are just all over the theater, like, crawling around the whole time, it's a whole immersive experience.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, like, just for theater in general.
I do too. I like Cats a lot. It's a fun show. Like, it's not as deep as some musicals, but,
No,
like,
it's
if you
not
can
deep
get
at
past
all.
that,
It's, like, very
yeah.
surface. There's, like, almost no plot.
Well,
It yeah, there's, like,
there's the
explain
whole
the
cats
plot of Phantom
vying
of
to
the
die
Opera
kinda
compared
thing.
to yeah, you
Yeah.
could say the plot in one sentence like you just did. Not like Phantom of the Opera, it would take, like, a novel just to,
Yeah.
like and then they're in a play within a play, and then it's like, "What?"
Yeah.
That's a lot. Um, let's see. W Okay, should we talk about where should I go first? I guess we need to talk about this.
Oh my gosh.
Surprise, I read your book. I finished
Did you
it
like it?
today. Um, it's definitely an interesting take on Phantom of the Opera. I mean, again, like, I have to turn myself off from being a purist because there's not much purity in this one. Tell
No,
me
there's not.
about, like have you written anything before this, or how did you is this what how did this come about?
So I've been writing fanfic for a long time. I used to write it on, I don't know, there was the old fan website, and then it had, oh my God, the fifth seller, for fanfics, which sadly doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I totally
But
missed that, so maybe some
oh
people in the
yeah,
chat would know about it.
yeah. But I had some fics there that were lost when that site
Oh,
disappeared, thanks to Andrew Lloyd Webber.
really? He
But
shut it down. You don't have backups?
I didn't. I was pretty young at the time, so it didn't really occur to me. Um, but so I've written a lot since then, mostly just for Phantom, and that started out like I was publishing it on a fan fiction website, and I wrote it during the pandemic, and it's the only one that I've ever actually like finished. And I was like, what if I made this into a book? And I did,
This was like your pandemic project.
basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, it reads kinda like that, because
It does
obviously
take place during the
it's set in the
pandemic.
pandemic, so obviously, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I guess, for your previous fanfics, were you in a certain Phantom universe, or were you kinda I don't know. I'm not as familiar, so this is where I'm kind of exploring with you, like, do people mix Phantom universes together, or do they stay in one lane, and this is like an Andrew Lloyd Webber set universe, etcetera?
Sometimes, I know people who've mixed them or some write for specific phantoms, and I have written, both. Sometimes I have, like, this is the phantom that I'm writing for. I've written Andrew Lloyd Webber phantoms or more LaRue ones or, and then sometimes I'm like, "Well, what if I just took this personality trait and this one and just mixed them all together?"
Yeah, because there's a lot of mixing going on here, I could
Anyways, he's mostly Andrew Lloyd Webber, but he's got a
that's what
little
I
bit of other stuff
figured.
in there.
It was just hard for me to imagine Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom doing dishes, but I
I
guess
mean,
this is how you see him, like, you wanna see him do his normal everyday
I
thing?
figured he had to have, like, bedazzled his cloak and put feathers on his hat, like, he would do the dishes. He's gonna keep his house clean.
I know, but seeing him do it, that's weird.
I guess.
I mean, weirder than the
I like
sex
the
stuff.
idea of, like, a mundane little house husband phantom.
Yeah, um, I don't know what to ask about. Okay, I want this is a nerdy question, but when you describe obviously, his half mask is basically the Weber version, right? But
Yeah.
when he's doing the full black mask, like, how do you imagine that? Like, what does that look like?
Um, that's very much how I've always pictured LaRue's Phantom, whether that's accurate or not.
But what kind of
Just
mask is it? Like,
I don't know.
because
I
I
don't know that
mean,
I've
we're
ever
also talking about like COVID masks in this sort of, because that's why it's normal that he's hiding his face in this version, sort of, right?
yeah. It's just like a full black mask.
Cloth, or is it like,
Probably? I don't know that I thought that much in
oh,
detail about it.
well, you say it, it's gonna be canon now.
Okay. Probably cloth because otherwise that sounds uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, all those masks seem uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
People describe his mask as porcelain usually, and I probably did too, but that
yeah.
sounds awful to me.
Well, that's what it seems like in the white musical mask, right? It's,
Yeah. But
let's
the
see.
idea of
Yeah,
wearing porcelain on your face just it's terrible.
yeah. And okay, yeah, the rooms that you described that he designs, is that based on anything you've ever seen of or heard of before? Or did you make that up completely?
Kind of
Because that was an interesting
made
take
up,
on the torture chamber
like
scenario.
kind of inspired by The Haunting of Hill House. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've seen that series, but
I
I'm a big fan of it.
started it, and then I was so just when you start TV shows and you're kind of half paying attention.
Yeah.
That's one that you cannot do that with. So I was just like, I gotta
No.
stop watching this until I can give it my full attention. So then I never went back to it. I really should do that.
Yeah.
So I know there's like Easter egg ghosts all over the place and stuff,
There
right? And I
are.
just
It's
like
such
I
a
was just
great
like on my
series.
phone, like, you know,
Yeah.
how I watch you.
Yeah.
Um, has it been received well, or do have people been reading it?
Yeah. I haven't worked as hard on promoting it as I probably should, but
I
some
mean,
people
it
have
just
definitely
came
read.
out though, right? I mean, I see a date on here, March 2023.
Uh, no, it's been out longer than
Oh,
that. It's probably been out for like a year now.
oh.
Sometimes I kind of forget.
Mine says March 11th, 2023.
Yeah. Well, probably because I think
Just
Amazon
the
prints them
printing.
like whenever
Yeah,
you place an order.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then I would have
I
ordered it
also learned
last
a
month.
lot about how to format books and actually like publish them with that one. So the next one will be better.
Yeah, are you working on a next one?
I am.
And is it a sequel or is it a new story?
A new story, though it is a modern Phantom. Although I also have one that's like not Phantom related at all, which is weird
Hmm.
for me, but it's
Yeah,
an original
do you want to
story.
talk about it?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fair. What about the Phantom one? Can you say anything about that one?
Yeah, I started the first 4 chapters. I think they're actually still available online because I kind of wanted to see what people thought of it. Um, but it is also a modern Phantom. It starts with the Phantom getting injured in a car crash, so we have an origin story. And it's hard to talk about it too much because I'm kind of those make it up as I'm writing. So I
Hmm.
don't 100% know where it's going.
Well,
I
that's
have to find
fair.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, tell me about when you decided you were a Phantom of the Opera historian
That
and
was
how
mostly a joke to spite somebody else who was calling himself a historian, but, like, was putting just nonsense out there, and I was like, "If he can just say whatever and call himself a historian, then
you
I
can
can
do
call
that.
myself a." Huh?
It works. I put Kate, you're on the show and I listed you as the Phantom historian.
Yeah.
See? Oops, I
Yes.
lost you. There
And
we
I
go.
I work very hard to
Nope,
make sure. Oh,
that one. That's the one I want. Opera historian and collector. Yes.
yes. I work really hard to try and make sure that the content that I'm putting out there is, like, correct and stuff, but I know a lot about Phantom, but I probably don't know, like, every single thing there is to know. But I mostly took on that title just to spite somebody else.
Hey, that's cool. Um, I mean, it seems like it's pretty accurate. We're gonna test your knowledge, I think. My manager has the original playbill with Michael Crawford. Oh wow,
That is
that's
so
really
cool.
great. Man, to have seen him or Brightman, especially together, that must have been really crazy. Although I wonder
Yeah.
after a couple years they were tired of it too, and just going through the motions.
Honestly, they didn't really stay that long, you know?
Yeah, but then they came to New York and they did it, and
Yeah,
I
but they
think he
didn't
then
stay
he
that
then he
long there
went to
either.
LA to do it, didn't
Yeah,
he? So he
he
did it
did.
for a while.
Yeah.
Sarah probably had some personal life stuff going on.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Getting
Um,
divorced and all that.
yeah, getting divorced to the guy who wrote it would do it.
For her.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a little
Awkward.
personal to do every night.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about the novel?
Okay.
Let's talk about the novel. And I know you have like every version of the novel pretty much known to man.
I try.
And I want to talk about specifically the different translations before we dive into it because that's like most interesting to me. And I even as a big fan, like, okay, let's see what I have here. I'm gonna start. I think well, this was the first one I ever had.
Mhm.
So that's the uncredited translation, which is
Demetos.
De Meadows, right? Which is probably the most flawed of all the translations, or incomplete, right?
Incomplete, yes. I wouldn't say most flawed, but incomplete.
So what is it missing exactly? Like how
Well, it's missing over 100 pages of content, but a lot of it's like details. So
isn't
everything's
aren't
there.
details important to novels?
Yeah,
That's pretty
but like
odd.
yeah,
Okay.
everything's there, but LaRue kind of has a tendency to really paint a picture and describe everything in great detail, and he just cut a lot of that out. And I definitely think that does take away from it, but it's not the worst translation to me.
Interesting. Okay. I'm guessing this is probably the same translation. This is a little bit more retro version that I found more
Nice.
recently. Uh, and then okay, I'll save that one. Check out this one. This one's a cool one. See, if I'm gonna buy the book, like I do like my collection of the novel, but the most unique ones are the most fun for me. I really
Yeah.
like this one. Have you ever seen this one?
I have seen it. That is so
With like a
cute.
little look at this little map of the opera house,
Aw. I
you know?
love that.
Yeah,
I've
that's
only
like
seen the cover because I haven't seen that one in person, but that's cool.
I haven't read it, you know, because I'm sure. I mean, it's a thin one, so it's probably the one with the most cut out of it.
That looks like one probably geared towards kids.
Yes. I'm trying to find out when it was published. Yeah, but it is the novel.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Oh, and that's interesting. The Persian, the persons this story is about. There's a little like description of the characters in the front,
Nice.
so that's pretty interesting. Still trying to
Yeah.
look for a publishing date on this. Maybe on the back. I want to say it's from like the 70s though,
Yeah.
which is was there only one translation out at that time?
I feel like I don't necessarily know when they all came out.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the limit of your knowledge.
Yeah. Now I have to go look it up.
So, I mean, for any title, blah, blah, blah. Listen, these books at the time were 25 cents plus 3 cents for postage. So, whenever that
Wow.
was the price of books, is I guess when this one came out. So, that's pretty cool. Um, Let me put that back in its little case here. This one I bought more recently just to have. I'm sure that's the same thing. I
Nice.
mean, how small is this? You can't fit all the
Yeah.
details into this one, right?
No.
But, I think I bought this on a little shop on Broadway. So,
That's a really pretty one.
I'm assuming this is the same translation. This is
I
another
think
old
so.
one. This
They
one's
usually
from
say on the cover if they're not.
this one's 1986. So that's cool.
Nice.
Let's see. Uh, this one,
Nice.
I'm guessing, and then of course Barnes and Noble.
Nice.
But these are all probably the same translation, I'm guessing.
Yeah, most of mine are all the same translation.
And then this one,
Dematos is not under copyright, so it's the most
right,
common.
probably. And then this one, just because it looked cool, even though I have never like actually opened it up. This Barnes and Noble, like mega Phantom of the Opera and like 100 other stories. But
I
like,
have that one too, and I
I mean,
also
it's
haven't
so
opened it up.
pretty. Like, it's
It
just cool to
is.
display, even though it's
It's
hard to read. Like, I can't actually read a book that thick.
yeah.
So, anyways, let's get into the more interesting ones, I think. Um, I don't know what translation this one is
Nice.
because it seems a little thicker, but maybe the words are just a little bit bigger. But it's
Yeah.
like a good 348 pages. So,
Yeah.
okay. Now I have Lowell Blair. Yep. So I know that was one of the big ones. So what? Tell me about his translation.
This is a pretty good one. I don't really have any complaints about it.
Complete.
Um, yes, pretty complete as far as I know.
Okay. And a very cool cover at that. I like that cover.
Yes, it's so pretty.
I have. Oh, this is probably the old translation, but with a forward by Peter Haining, who I have no idea who that is.
Nice. I've got that one too. I
Yeah.
like that cover a lot.
Is that the? I can't pronounce it. Dimatos.
Dematos. Yeah.
Dimatos. Probably the Dimatos translation, right?
Yeah.
Um, Probably the same here, but obviously every collector needs one of these.
Yes. The artwork in that is so
I
pretty.
mean, that's what you buy it for, not for the text, right? I have this
Yeah.
in hardcover and softcover, which is awesome.
Nice.
Like this, see, there's a black mask for you.
Yes.
And then maybe I'm missing some because the one that I've been using mostly is the Leonard Wolf annotated. You know, this seems to be the most complete and detailed of all of them.
Yeah.
What do
It's
you
it's a
think?
pretty good one, and he's got a lot of good annotations in there.
That's what yeah, I love the annotations, even though there's almost like too many.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been using mostly for this, well, actually,
Yeah.
totally just primarily. And is that a good one to be using for this?
I think so, yeah.
So what am I
That
missing? Oh, go ahead.
so this is the Dematos that I annotated for us. Um, but most of mine are Dematos, so
Right. Because those are
there
just like
is
collector's items.
pretty much. There's the Coward translation, and this one is pretty accurate to LaRue's tone as far as
Hmm.
translating, like how he said things in the French. This one like interprets it really well, because all of
I
them
don't
will
have
word it
that
a little
one.
different. Yeah, this is a pretty good one.
Oh, well,
This is
you
the
don't know when
worst
they
one.
came out. Oh, that's the worst one? Okay. Tell me about the worst
Yes.
one.
This is the L'Officier one, I think that's how you say it, and it reads more like a bad adaptation rather than like an actual translation. This is the one where he decided that Christine was 17 and like knowingly changed details to what he wanted the story to be rather than what LaRue
Ew.
wrote. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. And this is my personal favorite, which is the Rubiere. It also has a lot of annotations in it,
Hmm.
and it's got all the nice details and everything, and this is my favorite.
When did that one come out?
I have no idea.
Well, what does it say on the book?
Um,
I'm missing a few translations. What a terrible collector I am.
there are 6 English translations. It took me a while
So I
to
have
to
I have
finally
Wolf,
get them all.
Blair, Devatos in mass, and I guess I'm
This one
missing
was
3 of them?
2009.
Okay. Damn, I gotta get up. I gotta I gotta catch up. Um, what are all your annotations in all your books for? I see they're like color
So
coordinated and everything. I've been so curious ever since I saw your TikTok with like all your Phantom book versions. I
I
was like,
took
what is
notes
that?
on some of the details from the chapters that we were gonna talk about, and so I had to color coordinate them for each one because otherwise I was gonna get lost. Other than that, some of them do I? Let me grab sorry. Some of them that have other ones, I went through a couple of the translations and annotated everywhere that it talks about Christine's age because I wanted to definitively prove that she is an entire adult and not a child,
Yeah,
because
she's
that's why I got into the historian thing. The
right.
other historian was claiming that she's 15 years old in the book.
Ew, no.
Yeah, so I made it my mission to, prove that he was wrong.
And did you? I mean,
I
from what
did.
I understand, she's in her early 20s.
Yeah, she's 20 to 21,
Mhm.
and
Which is
yes, all of
kinda
that was
old back
proven.
then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just to put that in perspective, people were not living to be 100 back then.
Yeah.
That was probably about mid-age for most people.
She doesn't even need permission to get married, like, she's old.
Right, exactly, but definitely not, like, creepily teenager 15 or even 17.
Yeah. No, she's 16 when her dad died. At least 3 years have passed, she's finished college, but, I mean, LaRue makes it pretty clear that she's either 20 or 21, same age as Raoul.
How old is the Phantom?
Probably, in
And is
his
there
50s.
I mean, I guess you would have to go into his history in Persia and stuff to kinda figure that out. Have you tried to figure that out?
I've relied on a different Phantom historian who's writing their own translation for that because she really knows her stuff, and, she puts him about 55, and I
Hmm.
trust that she's right. She
Who
knows a
is this
lot about,
person? And tell me about this translation. Can I get her on the
th
show?
maybe this person's on Tumblr. They have talked in great detail about like everything to do with the book because not only do they know the book very intimately, but they just know all of like the historical context just really well. So
Mhm.
that's how they were able to like based on the age of his mother's furniture and stuff figure out how old he is. Um they're great.
Wait, I forgot one thing. I gotta turn my screen off for a second though, just so I can
Okay.
grab it.
Okay.
Hello, my microphone fell off.
You're
But
just chilling here, not
I forgot to mention this, the lost chapter.
yes.
So I was hoping Caitlin G. Freeman, who I've been trying to contact to get on the show, but I can't seem to get in touch with her.
I
I'd
think
love
that's the person I'm telling you about right now.
really
I think
because
so.
I know in this it says like she is doing her own translation, but this was some years ago, so I didn't know. I haven't heard anything about it. And
Yeah, she
interesting,
recently came back to Tumblr. I got in touch with her, to talk about the French translation when I was figuring out, Christine's age, because there were some other, like, just wording things that I noticed that I wanted to ask her about, and she did get back to me pretty quickly, so you could probably get in touch with her.
we'll talk about that off air. Yes, I would
Yeah,
definitely because for chapter, what is this, 11, I
I
think.
think so.
Um, I want her on the show for this one because she's the only one who's ever like done anything with this. And I
Yeah,
guess she's translating from the original serial before it was put into a novel. So like
yeah,
I think even Christine's name is even different in this version or something like that. Like there's some like major differences.
yeah.
And that's
So
interesting.
she knows everything about the whole thing.
How come nobody has translated the original serial before? That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's a huge marketplace. She should make $1 million to do that, you know?
Right?
And I will buy
Yeah,
one and I would love I've been trying to, you know, get in touch with her. So let's definitely talk about that
yeah.
later. Okay. Should we get into the chapters? We're only an hour into the show. See, this is my doing book club is my excuse to talk to people about Phantom in general too. But then we'll
Yeah,
also go over the book.
yes.
Um, so here's a question. This is chapter 4 and 5, box number 5 and box number 5 continued. Is it
Yes.
condensed into one chapter in different translations?
Yes, the DeMatteis translation does not separate the chapters.
Right, so I
it's
guess
just one
it's
chapter.
hard to specify on my listing of the chapters, like, I'm not gonna say which version, but yeah,
Yeah.
they could be different from for other people, but we're talking about just the box 5 and box 5 continued.
Yes.
Um, let's see. So we get a better understanding of the managers in this one. Oh, that's what I forgot to grab. One of my favorite things as a historian, you must know about the the recordings that were buried in the opera, right?
Yes.
Have you heard them?
No.
They actually came out on CD 100 years after they actually
Oh
did
my god.
dig them up, and I have it on CD. And you can
That
hear
is
the
so
actual
cool.
managers talking. And I mean, I think that's who these are based on.
Yeah.
So it's like amazing. There's actual record of these people talking in real life.
That is so
So
cool.
that's like one of my favorite things about Phantom is like there's this detail about them burying these phonographic records, right? But that's totally a real thing, and there's a picture of them doing it in the CD, and they
Yeah.
actually did 100 years later in 2010s, I believe, dug them up and put them out. So that is a
That is so
totally
cool.
real thing. And I just wanted to say that because this chapter starts with description of the opera managers. Armand Moncharmin. I'm gonna butcher all these names, but I think that's how to pronounce it.
No. Now, which translation are you using for
Okay,
this?
so maybe we should each pick a translation and compare and contrast. I've been using
Okay.
Leonard Wolf,
Okay.
so why don't you use your favorite and we'll compare a little bit.
Alrighty.
I was gonna read the first sentence. Armand Moncharmin has written such voluminous memoirs concerning that long period of his co-management that one has a right to wonder if he had the time to devote himself to the opera beyond giving an account of what happened. Transpired. Sorry. How close is that to yours?
They're basically saying the same thing, but worded completely different.
Interesting. What does
Yeah.
yours
Do you
say?
want me to read the first
Sure.
sentence?
Yeah, let's see.
Armand Moncharmin wrote such voluminous memoirs that we may well ask whether, during his years as co-director of the Paris Opera House, he ever found the time to discharge his duties other than by keeping a chronicle of events there.
Wow, it is exactly the same thing but completely different.
Yeah.
I really
The
wish I
translations are
spoke
fun like that.
French. Yeah. God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, they're both kind of beautiful long sentences though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we'll pick certain passages to compare and contrast, but uh he was a charming fellow who did not lack intelligence. That's what I'm noting here. I just have like some things, I'm highlighting this one, so just the highlights of
Yeah.
the chapter. Um, and then Fairman Richard was a distinguished musician and a gallant gentleman. How does it describe him in your book? The beginning of
He's a
chapter, I mean,
distinguished
paragraph
composer
B.
and a man of honor.
Huh,
But
interesting.
I love that he's like actually like an entire composer, and it even references like Gluck and Meyerbeer, which are both
Oh,
referenced
I'm
in
getting there.
Weber.
Trust me, we're gonna get into that. I have lots of tabs open.
Nice.
uh, so it says here in mine definitively, Beerman Richard is about 50 years old, tall, stocky, without being overweight. Full head of hair, neatly cut with bangs over his forehead, and a beard to match.
Pretty
Um,
similar description.
so okay, and it starts talking about his music career, and
Yes.
it says that the La Morte de Hercule,
Mhm.
right? Is that so? What? Let me see. Oh, you know what? I skipped something. It talks about La Revue des I don't know how to pronounce things in French. Theaters. Um, hold on. Let me get organized. Live television. I know this is the exciting part. Oh, and I didn't even open the Opera House. Okay, I'll do that. Okay. The only thing I found with that is maybe a collection
Ooh.
of the newspaper that they're talking about that they
Yeah.
I forget what they say about it. Oh, here is a portrait of him that appeared in the Revue de Theaters. Yes, the whole description I just said is supposedly from, I guess, this publication.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about that, but 1754, that seems to be a little before this time period.
Yeah. A little
But
bit.
anyways, I guess I'm assuming that was a real publication in
Probably,
France.
if not, if he's not referencing that, then he's definitely referencing something that did exist. He might have
Right,
changed the name though.
right. I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
So this is what I found. A Hercule. Is this supposed to be the same song that he
It
had composed?
it probably is because every piece of music he references is based on a real piece.
Interesting. Well, here it is. This is what the manager is supposed have written, to have written. Who were the managers that you saw? Do you
Um,
remember?
oh my gosh. I know his name is Craig, but I can't remember his last name. And Nehal Joshi, who is like the best Andre.
Hmm.
They're both really good.
I think I saw Laird McIntosh as one of the managers once, and it was just like amazing. It was like hands down the best I've ever seen.
Laird is so
I
good.
really want to see him as the Phantom too.
God, me too.
So many phantoms, so little time. Literally.
I know.
Anyways, I don't know much about Can I don't know. I can't read any of this. Luke. Oh, I guess that's the singer. Luis
Yeah.
Nicolas. I don't know much about that. Do you know anything about like this old music? Not
No.
really. Yeah,
I
okay, me
probably
neither.
should, not only as a Phantom historian, but as a vocal performance major,
Hmm.
but I don't.
And then yeah, in going further with these descriptions, like there's tons of references to old composers, like you said, Gluck. Here we have Gluck.
Yeah.
Um, and this is, I guess, just interesting if you were around at the time and you actually knew that like the beef between these musicians and stuff, which is totally lost on us now because we just see them as names that have no context. But this was actually
Yeah.
like social gossip almost like at the time, would you say?
Yeah.
So there's Gluck. Um, what else do we got here? I'm not gonna try to pronounce all these names. Puccini. They
Mm.
talk about Puccini. They talk about Meyerbeer, which let's see, what does it say here? Um, his works were enhanced by the up-to-date theater technology of the Paris Opera. They set a standard which helped maintain Paris as the opera capital of the 19th century. So
Nice.
he's pretty relevant to the time
Yeah.
period.
Which makes sense why Weber would also reference him.
Where does Weber reference him?
In the auction scene, some of the
Oh,
props are from one of his operas.
interesting. Is that a real opera or did Weber make it up?
I don't know.
Hmm. Maybe we should go back to that Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Let's let's go backwards.
I think was Robert Le Diable the Meyerbeer one? I think so.
Is there a list of his works here? Oh, look. So that's cool.
Nice.
Uh, so
Yeah.
that's uh, uh I guess
Yeah.
it's a drawing, I guess,
Yeah.
of the opera house in 1831. I love seeing actual old like interpretations of the opera house. So that is so Phantom of the Opera right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's great. So he's very relevant to the whole scene going on there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but that's an interesting thing to maybe look up and follow up on later.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? This guy, they talk about this guy,
Yeah.
whoever he is. I'm sorry, I don't know who any of these people are. I'm not really into the actual opera world, so if you can elaborate
Yeah.
at all about any of these people. But really,
I'm
the
getting
chapter is just
there.
them gossiping.
Yeah.
A different Weber,
Yeah.
and Wilhelm Wagner, which there's not. Oh,
Wagner. Yeah.
is that Richard Wagner? Wilhelm Richard Wagner?
Yeah.
There he is. Hey, is that an actual picture of him? There we go. That's cool. Yeah, I love how um LaRue weaves in all this like actual real stuff into the novel, but I don't really get all of it because I wasn't around at the time period.
Yeah.
Okay, going on in the chapter. Let me hide this for now. Okay, we got through all the references of the first 2 pages of the chapter. Now we can get into the fun stuff. Richard, he was one might call an authoritarian. Do you know what line is in your translation?
I think so. It's different, but I think I know about where you're at.
It's at the end of one of the paragraphs. It's on like the second or third page.
Yeah. I got you.
What does yours say?
It calls him an authoritarian character
Okay.
and also a foul temper.
Yeah, it said because of his difficult temperament in mind.
He's a pain in the
Okay,
ass.
right. That's what basically, yes, our translation.
Yeah.
So then we get to the letters. The Phantom is sending them the letters, and it's basically saying, um, Carlotta sucks, right? And
Yeah.
I noted this one, who ought never to have left the ambassadors or Cafe Jacqueline. Do you know anything about these things?
There's actually a footnote here for that.
Oh, really? Mine doesn't have a footnote for that. What's yours say?
Let me go. He put all the footnotes at the back of the book
Really annoying.
instead of under it.
Hmm.
So let me find it. Chapter 4, there we go. That was footnote 7. So it says by the late 19th century, cafes had become all the rage in Paris and the fashionable haunt of artists and writers. The Ambassadors was not a theater as such, but a music hall on the Champs Elysees and was depicted by Degas in several paintings.
Ooh.
And
How do you spell
the other one
Degas?
was also a music hall. Huh?
Degas?
Yes.
Ambassadors?
Yes.
Let's see.
Café des Ambassadeurs. That was awful French pronunciation.
That's okay. We're not here for the pronunciation. So I guess this is his depiction of ambassadors. Oops. Popped up
Well, I
in
think
a new window.
if you look up Café des Ambassadeurs,
This is to the ambassadors. More from this artist. Which one?
Café, let's see if I can put it.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
use the chat?
Yeah, you can send me private chat.
Okay. Should I spell that right? Not quite. There we go. Whoops. There we go. There it
Got
is.
it. So we want to know all the details. That's what we do at book club. We
Yes.
take 3-page chapters, and we talk about them for an hour. Okay, at the cafes. Yes, got it.
Yes.
From the Met Museum website. Oh, cool, it's already there. Wow, that's a not like his other works. Oops,
No,
that's
it's
pretty
not.
interesting. Yeah, I'm used to his ballerinas and stuff.
Yeah. That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I like the other one too, but that's cool. So now we have a picture of what the Phantom is talking about here. So I guess you could be famous and notable in the cafes, but doesn't necessarily translate to the diva of the stage.
Yeah.
And he says Christine Daae, whose genius is inescapable. What does it say in your book? The-
Um,
It's like the last line of his first paragraph.
it says her talent is unquestionable.
Hmm, interesting.
Similar.
Yeah, it's totally different, but like it does get the same point across. That's so interesting. Language is just so weird.
Yeah.
Um, and it mentions she was Cybele tonight.
Sibel, yeah.
Cybele. So that's Faust, right? So
Yes.
they're already doing Faust at this point at the Paris Opera, like in this point in the story.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Of course, we don't need to look that up. If you're into Phantom of the Opera, you'd better know Faust. Although I've never actually listened to the full thing, I don't think, but um,
You
I'm
have
well
to find the
aware
right
of the Jewel
recording of
song.
Faust.
Yeah, maybe you can
Yeah.
help me with that. I kind of want to watch it, but I don't know what I would watch because
Yeah.
I feel like
I
it's
got
very
it.
visual.
Yeah. I got a DVD of it from the Met and it was terrible and I couldn't
Oh
finish it.
no,
And then I found one at my school library and it is excellent. I could watch it over and over. It's gorgeous. So you got to find the right
maybe
one.
you can recommend that one to me. If I can I
Yes.
go find it somewhere or do is it like a
Probably. I can
publicly
give you the
available?
information. I think
Okay.
so.
So I'm not gonna sit in a library for 4 hours watching an opera.
No, I have it. I checked it out on DVD.
Okay.
I wouldn't sit there either.
Yeah, got you. I should do that one day. But of course I'm most familiar with the Jewel song, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. And they actually do that song in the Robert Englund movie, which is
Yes,
one of
they
the great
do.
things about that movie is they actually use Faust.
They cut it a little bit,
They
but they
did a
do it.
little they would it's a little too literal to the story perhaps in that one, but we still
Yeah.
get it. Let's see. If you want us to live in peace, it is better not to begin by taking away my box. So those are he's yelling at them. He's being a little phantom. Um, and then the letter was accompanied by a clipping from the personals column of Le Revue Theatralis, which I think is spelled differently than the first publication that is very similar
Yeah.
that I mentioned before. So I don't know if that's a different publication. Um, they looked at each other and burst out laughing. So they think this is just a joke, of course. So
Yeah.
that's sort of a similarity between this and like the musical where everybody knows. The joke's still on, said M. Richard, but it's not funny. I'm the mood, not in the mood to be the butt of this joke much longer. So then they send them tickets to box 5, the old managers, right?
Yeah.
Um, the tickets were sent at once. M. Debierne, I can't pronounce their names. How do you say Debienne?
I think it's Debian.
Debienne, that seems more correct. He lived okay, this is where we're getting real nerdy, okay? Um,
Okay.
where am I here? Okay. Now we're getting into Google Maps.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So he lived at the corner of Rue Scribe and the Boulevard des Capucines. And
It's probably
this is
close.
this is that right there. So I don't know. Oops, you can't see it.
Nope.
Ta-da!
Nice.
Yeah, so that's I don't know if that structure was there at the time, but, this is the spot right here. Hotel Scribe on that side. I guess it's this one right here. I don't know. They're all hotels now. Oh, maybe it's this right here.
Yeah.
So, that's where the old manager lives. And let's see if you wanna see its relationship whoops, to the opera house. It's, like, right there, man. Talk about walking to work. Oh, no, it disappeared. There's a little opera house when you go, this far back.
I
Do you see
see
it?
it. That's so cute.
Yeah, but then if you go any closer, it disappear no, there it is. Okay, great. So, yeah, he's right here. Can you see my mouse circling it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's where the manager lives. One of them. And then the other manager, ex-manager, Poligny. Did I say that correctly, you think?
I think that's pretty close.
It just
That one's hard
says
for me too.
yeah, it just says that he's on the Rue Albert, and that is, like, right here. So that's another pretty close walk to the opera house.
Yeah.
Though I don't why do I not have a street view? Where's my street view guy? Okay, let's
See,
check
the
it out.
Phantom actually went to the post office on the Boulevard de Capucines.
Huh.
Capucine, I don't know. So that's what made him think, oh, well, clearly it's the manager that lives there doing this.
Oh, so but he does live there, right? But there's also a post office there? Is that what I'm
He does.
understanding?
And there's a post
Okay.
office that the Phantom went to mail his
Oh,
letters instead of
check
just leaving them there.
dude, check out this view. You can actually see the opera house down the street.
Yay.
Yeah, so that's a cool place to live. You definitely know where work is.
Yeah.
The 2 letters from the Phantom of the Opera had been posted on the boulevard. Oh, so okay, that's what that means. I almost feel like it sounded like to me like he put it up on a message board on the street, but I guess posted would mean that he sent it from a post office
He
there.
went to the trouble of going to a post office. And see, you don't think he does mundane stuff. The
I
Phantom goes
know,
to the
see,
post
that's
office.
all about yeah, that's what we discover in your book is, the Phantom does mundane everyday things too. He has to go to the
Exactly.
post office. What do you think he wears to the post office? Let's
That is a
ruminate
good
on
question.
that.
Probably his false nose and everything,
That's what
tries
I
to look
always
as
figured,
normal
but
as
that was actually
possible.
weren't those aren't we to perceive that those were pretty new inventions for him at the time of the book?
Yeah, but,
So,
he
I
starts
wonder.
off using them pretty early, so
Yeah.
he probably wants to well, he probably went at night when nobody would see him, but, probably tried to look as
Oh,
normal as he could.
well, I guess I was imagining him, like, going inside and actually talking to somebody with his letters, but he probably just put it in the bin, right?
Probably. I
That
don't know
makes
how
sense.
French post offices work.
I don't know, especially back then, you know?
Yeah, he just put it in their pile of mail.
Right. I wonder if he can receive letters. No, he just talks to them through the magazine, right?
Yeah.
Um, so anyways, yeah, that's such a
Maybe he
cool
made,
view.
the Persian do it.
Maybe. Well, that's your Persian's much more like that for him in your book.
Yeah.
In this novel, he's mostly just stalking him around and being an
Yeah.
annoyance. They're not really
Yeah.
friends anymore. They're acquaintances, but he does almost kill him a
Yeah, he
couple
does almost
times.
kill him.
A couple
Kinda puts a
times.
damper on their friendship.
I know you're really shipping them. That's the
I
real
just think they should
relationship
be
in your
good
group.
buddies.
I know. He has good buddies with nobody.
I know.
That's what makes him a monster, Christine.
Oh.
uh, okay, back to the book. So at this, Spearman Richard gave orders that the performers be sent in. They had been waiting in the corridor for 2 hours. So this letter comes right before they're about to hire and fire a bunch of people, right? Just one by one in a line, basically.
Yeah, but right before that, though, I love that they kind of go, "Well, maybe Christine's not a virgin after all." Because if the Phantom is so
Yes,
interested in her, maybe she's not as pure as they think.
right. I want to see what it says on my book. I thought I had that. I must have had that highlighted somewhere. Where is that?
I know that I highlighted it in the wolf
Practical
one.
joke on nothing. Blah blah blah. Yeah, because I definitely read when I was rereading this today. I was like, oh yeah, here it is. By the
Yeah,
way, Moncharmin continued, they seem to be very interested in Christine Daae. You know as well as I do that she is reputed to be virtuous.
yeah,
Often enough, one may borrow a reputation. I have the reputation for knowing music, and I can't tell the difference between an F clef and a G clef.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
this one says, "That
that's
reputation may be untrue, but all of them say, like, something different, and it's
yeah.
so
I
funny."
kind of want to compare some translations of this line because that's a very interesting one, and I don't know if it's in your notes for her age range or not.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's kind of this
You can have
specific
a
mention
toxic
isn't,
relationship with the Persian. Yeah, yeah.
but this is the second time where they've talked about the fact that she is virtuous, and the first time definitely is part of the reference to her age.
Right, that's
But,
what I was thinking about, yeah. It's not
yeah,
in this one, but they do talk about it before, like and that's where I think most people get it confused because they say she is like a teenager, but not that she is a teenager, right?
well, yeah, he says that her heart is as pure as it had been at 15,
Right,
and all he's saying is she's still a virgin.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of
Because yeah, in the
see, I
context
want the
of the whole
version of this
paragraph.
movie that is like my okay, I'm gonna talk about my dream version of the movie again. So, Hollywood, I'm
Okay.
talking to you. I know you're watching. Um, that's really what I want to do here is just be hired to consult on a LaRue accurate Phantom of the Opera movie. And all my
Yeah,
friends, I would bring my historian friends along with me. Um,
yes.
but this should be kind of in the vibe of a teen romance gone horror. This is
Yeah.
a teen romance novel, like that whole chapter where her and Raoul are like playing, you know, playing engaged and like all over the opera house, and then that's when they end up on the roof, right? And I
Yeah.
always get that confused because it's different in every version, like how they get to the roof and when. But it is after that, not after Masquerade in the novel, right?
Oh
Because
my
they keep
god.
going higher and higher. They're in the wings, hanging
Yeah.
out, right? And then they eventually get to the roof, and that's where she tells
Yeah.
them the whole story. I believe
Did they go up to the roof twice? But
maybe.
yeah,
Um, where was I going with that? Oh yeah,
drawing blank.
that whole scene should be like 80s montage of them like being cute. You know, that's the
Yeah.
vibe here. But then like the counterpoint to that is the horrors, like as jovial as the upstairs world should be and like kind of lighthearted in a way,
Mm.
everything underneath should be actually scary. And that's what I want from a Phantom movie. So just putting
Yeah.
that out there. I want all the sex comedy that is in the book to be translated. Like nobody really plays with that as much.
Yeah.
I guess maybe a little bit in Weber's. I don't know. His you're right. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
we know that she's not virtuous when I saw Love Never Dies, so we
Oh
discovered the
my god.
nasty truth about that one.
Oof.
Yeah. That was I went with my mom. That was a little uncomfortable, that scene.
Oh, I went with my mom. They did the showings of Love Never Dies in the movie theater.
Oh, I saw that too. I
Yeah,
think,
so I went
yeah.
with my mom to
Yeah,
that.
I definitely saw that. The Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I saw it live and it was just I knew it was coming. Of course, I'd seen the
Yeah.
show on screen before, but yeah, what an uncomfortable song that is.
Yeah.
uh anyways, let's see, where are we? Yes,
But, in the
virginity.
Coward translation, when it's talking about her virtue, they say, "A reputation can cover a multiplicity of sins." And I feel like that sounds a lot more sinister than just saying, "Well, reputations can be easily obtained."
Hmm. Oh, but what does it say? Did we? translate the virtuous line in that version?
Let me open it again. That's why I made my handy dandy tabs.
Yeah, exactly. You're very well organized. I appreciate that.
They said there's not a blot on her reputation. So they don't call her virtuous, but
It's
they do kind of
interesting. Some of
imply.
them imply it more than others, it seems like.
Yeah.
I wonder what the original French says. I wonder what Caitlin G. Freeman's gonna say about that.
I should have marked the French because I can kind of get along in it, and I probably could have told you, but I didn't go through and mark
Oh,
it, so I don't know where it is.
wah, wah. Well, we could. All right, that's up to you. I'll move on. I'll move on from the virginity for now. But it is definitely, yeah, worth noting because that's the kind of book this is, and I think that should be translated more to um, the screen or whatever versions you're gonna
Yeah.
make. I mean, there's some sex in your book, so just teaser for anyone who wants to read "Song of a Maiden" by Christine Townsend.
Oh
There's
my god.
sex. Okay, and I like that I noted the date, January 25th. I like when there's definitive information about where we are in the story.
I just wish it was like it was January 26th or Phantom had opened on January 25th because it's only a day off. Like that's so close.
Right. Yeah. Well, the next scene in the book is January 26th, I think. I did
Yeah,
note that in my
that's true.
actual
They do say
notes.
the next morning. So
There's
technically,
three definitive dates in these chapters: January 25th, 26th, and 27th.
yeah,
And what year is it? 1881?
I think so.
I think so.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. If two fans like us think it sounds right, I think it's right. Okay, yeah. So the following morning, so that's January 26th, definitively the anniversary of Phantom opening on. Is it just Broadway or is it in London?
Just Broadway.
Yeah, just Broadway. Another note from the Phantom: an exquisite daie fixed the choruses. Carlotta, magnificent and banal instrument. How does it describe her in your book?
A splendid but not unique talent.
I like mine better on that one.
Yeah.
And then a letter from the other managers basically saying that we are not taking Vox 5. Screw you. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what I like about the Phantom's note, though, when he talks about the francs, is he gives a very specific
Oh
number.
yeah.
And that tells us that the first managers only paid him like 6,575 francs. That's the only payment he's gotten so far. And then he gets the rest of it from these managers, and then he gets one more payment. That's all the money he gets the whole time.
Hmm. You
And
know,
I like that we're given specifics.
I know we're not in this chapter, but I never fully understood the magic envelope situation. Can you explain it to me?
I need to go over that one myself
Yeah, every time I
'cause
read
it's
that one,
been
I'm
a
just
hot
like, I
minute.
don't know, I don't understand what's happening. That's why I would love to, and if anyone out there watching this knows anyone in this realm who would like to come and talk about those chapters where the magic happens, I would love to talk to like an actual illusionist or magician to like
Yeah.
explain these tricks to me.
Have somebody recreate it.
Yeah, even better. That would be great.
Yeah.
Like I want to see it. Like I want to hear their interpretation of the magic mirror and be like, what is that actually?
Yeah.
There's a lot of interpretations of it, but I don't feel like any of them are really accurate to
Yeah.
what the technology would actually be, back then. Is it rotating? Like how, in the Lon Chaney, in some versions of it, you see like the mechanics behind the mirror and stuff like that. Like I wonder what is that? But then how does it reflect her multiple times? Like what is that? I
Yeah.
don't know. But especially the envelope thing, like always, I never fully understood it. Um, the next day, so here we are, a couple paragraphs after January 26th, we are in January 27th, definitively, right?
Yes.
Uh, they found an inspector's report relating to events that had transpired the evening before in Lodge number 5. Let's look at the box. we haven't done that yet today. I think I have a bookmark here somewhere. Oh no. Where's my bookmark folder? Oh, Phantom. This is one of my favorite things to do here, although I sometimes get lost, is go to Google Maps of the Opera House. So here we
Yes.
are in the auditorium. It's the chandelier. And I believe this is box 5, right?
I think so.
Because it's not
It's
the stage box, but it's the one next to it on the first level. I believe
is it
that's it.
the first or is it one up? I was
Uh,
just looking right before this at a photo, but now this is a different angle, so it's hard to tell.
um, I don't know. I think that's what I understood, but let's see if I can Google it.
Yeah.
Alex Gagne. Oh, or I should
Box.
just go through the door here and find out,
Yeah,
right? Of
clearly.
course. Yeah. Box 5. I'm sure it's the most photographed box of all the boxes here.
Absolutely.
Let's see, images. Let me share this screen here. So I actually, oh, did I bring it over here? No, I left it in my closet. But I actually did buy this book right here recently. I can't read it because it's in French. You know, I thought I would have more like maps, and it's more about the architecture than anything. But
Well, I think what for the person who just left a comment, I think what set box 5 apart is the fact that there is a column in there, which would help the
mm,
phantom come in and out.
right,
And I don't think the other boxes have that.
right. Oops. Uh-oh.
Capital One.
Yeah, that's not where I was supposed to go. Um, this is what I wanted. Pinterest. So that's someone's. I don't know if that's
Uh,
accurate.
I don't think so. 'Cause that doesn't look like the Paris Opera House.
Right. Well, there's a lots of pictures of the sign of it, which is labeled the Phantom's Box if you actually go there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Where is, let's see. Where is box 5 in Past Garden? Since it's the title of the chapter, you know.
Yeah, I think it is a smaller box. I
So
think it's the like first one on the end.
maybe let's go
Yeah.
back to,
F de l'Opéra should be is that a Tumblr link?
oh, should I go back?
Because that should be Caitlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoops. Let me just go to Tumblr. What's her Tumblr?
F de l'Opéra.
That's her. Wait, I've been
Yeah.
looking at that for like years, I think.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Um, how do I use Tumblr?
Good
How do I search
question.
her stuff?
So if you
Search box 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's the search box.
Aha. Excellent, I guess. Okay, so look, I can't click this picture, but
Yeah.
so it's actually okay, it's actually that one. Great. We solved the mystery of box 5. One of the mysteries, one of the many mysteries. So let me go back to Google Maps. So it's actually this one, like right here,
But
I
one level
guess.
up.
Oh, here?
Yes, that's the one.
That's the Phantom's box. Oh, because it's next to the column.
Yes.
Man, that's like pretty small box. Whoops. Now I'm in the
Now
boxes.
you're in the theater.
Oh no, I'm in the theater still. Okay.
You're lost in the
Oh, oh
opera.
no, I
Oh,
am
you're on the
lost. Now I'm
stage.
on the stage. Okay, that's a good view though. So it's this right here.
Yep. He'd be sitting right there watching,
Man, that's
causing
like
mischief.
pretty thin.
Are you
I
in the
don't
box?
I think I'm in a box, but I don't know if this is actually box 5. You can only go into one of them. I've tried so many times. But if you want to know what the box kind of looks like, um, whoops, it's hard to navigate this a little bit. Well, yeah, it's a so you
Close.
can kind of see it. I don't know if it's box 5 or not. I can't see. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I
think
think they're
so.
probably oh, here we go. This is
A
this
box?
is a box.
No, that's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
So it's like next
So
to
this
it.
is the one next to the stage, but that's the only one you can go into on Google Maps. I've tried. I've tried endlessly. It's so crazy that they wouldn't do box 5, but
I
there's
know.
there's
They
the
don't.
stage
Yeah.
box. It's better easier to look at from here.
Yeah.
Anyways, what a beautiful theater. Oh no, what happened to the curtain?
That's
Oh,
weird.
that's weird. That was like a glitch. Anyways, that's box 5. See, we go deep here. Okay, where were we? Um, so there was an inspector's report basically saying that there was like they rented the box out and there was laughter and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yep.
What am I missing here? From what I hear, sometimes they've changed what the number of boxes are. Really? Might have been one of the smaller boxes with the column. It's either the small box with the column or the big box with the column. You can find videos on YouTube. Yeah, I should do that. At the end of this, I'll look it up on YouTube. It's a beautiful opera house, but apparently acoustics wise, it's not as good. Yeah, I mean they don't really use it for shows as much anymore.
No, it's used for ballets now,
Yeah,
pretty
because they have a
exclusively.
better opera house in Paris that's way less interesting to look at, but definitely more technologically advanced, and that's what they use
Yeah.
for operas now. Um, I noted the occupants seemed to have entirely lost their wits and made stupid replies, blah blah blah.
You thought they
I
were
had them
drunk.
all expelled once for all. Well, they probably were drunk. I mean, that's what people did in these boxes. This was a social occasion, at the
Yeah.
time, right? So, um, yeah. Do you have anything to say about that portion?
Not really. I love that most of his jokes are not violent. He just messes with people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
He's a
Oops. Where
funny
am I
guy.
now? Anyways. Um. Oh no, I lost you. There we go. So okay, so then they send for the inspector to talk to him, right?
Yeah, I like they get the secretary,
Oh
and
yeah,
it
Remy's
mentions,
back.
yeah, that he
How
gets
come
paid
nobody puts
2,000.
him in a there's I've never seen him in any adaptation of Phantom.
I know. I don't know.
They could have a silly little sidekick manager guy, like it's
Yeah.
perfect.
But I like that they mentioned that he gets paid 2,400 francs a year, and like contrast to how much money the Phantom is expecting to get paid, which is way more than a secretary makes. And like, what does he really even do?
The
The
Phantom, I
ghost,
mean,
not the secretary.
the Phantom's blackmail. You're paying him to not drop chandeliers on your audience. So
Yes,
that's some gangster shit. Do you know
the
that the
photos are
palace
really nice.
have now sometimes set up two of the boxes? Yes, I know. I covered that. Yeah, we talked about that last time on the show or one of my previous shows. God, I
I
would wish
wonder
I
if
could
the
do that.
person who got it, ooh,
I'm
I want it
sure.
now. Oh my
Yeah.
God, now I have to tell my girlfriend we're getting married at the opera house.
Well, you
We'll
haven't
save
said
up
that
the money.
already? You're
It'll be
just
fine. We'll
occurring
save
to
up the
you
money.
now?
I didn't know you could get married there, but now that I know that's happening, I'm gonna let her know
Save those
right now.
dollars. Yes, everybody, if everybody here goes and buys Song of a Maiden, Christine can get married in the opera house. Oh yeah, I
But
do. Yeah,
Oh, for
Remy.
the sleeping thing, I hope that whoever got it is a big Phantom fan and, like, does Phantom things there.
So it was just a one-time thing, right? It's not like a normal thing. Because I couldn't actually
Yeah,
find the Airbnb link for it. I don't, because it's just
yeah.
like a special promotion.
It was one time you had to be the first one to, like, snag it, and somebody did. So one person gets to stay there for, like, $40.
Yeah. Damn.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, plus if you're plus like the trip to Paris in the first place, so that's quite an expensive trip
True.
unless you're already there. But people there, I don't think care about Phantom of the Opera like America does. Like to
I don't
them,
know,
I
because they
think
do have, Veronica LaRue has
the
her place
cafe,
dedicated,
yeah, I
and there
know, but
must be
it's
some
small.
interest.
There must be some
Yeah,
interest, but I think it's
but she is
mostly
moving to a
American
new
tourists.
location.
Oh, good. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Can she speak English? Because I'd love to have her on the show, but I want to be able to actually communicate with her.
I think she can, because she follows a lot of English accounts, and
Mhm.
she did stuff with an English woman, like a radio thing, so I think she does.
Nice.
She
I would
interacts with a
love
lot of
to.
tourists.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, from what I understood, Leroux in France is more famous for his Mystery of the Yellow Room series, the
Yeah,
Rouletabille.
for his detective novels, that's
Yeah.
true.
So,
But
which
Le Cave is
I've
mostly
only read
dedicated to
2 of
Phantom.
those. What's that?
Yeah. Le Cave
Yeah,
is mostly dedicated to Phantom.
right.
But
For
yeah.
tourists.
Yeah.
Um,
But even the Opera House, a whole section of their gift shop has
oh
Phantom
yeah.
merch. So,
I've never been there myself, but my ex-roommate who
what
used
is
to actually, he got me a postcard from there, because he knew I loved it. He actually used to usher in the Majestic Theater when he was like a teenager, so he hates Phantom. But shout out to him, he is now in Parade.
Oh, cool.
Yes, Eddie Cooper. I lived
Nice.
on and off with him for many years in Queens.
Very nice.
My husband and I intend to have our vow renewals there. Let me know if that happens. I'd love to talk about it or see pictures and everything. France is very partial to Victor Hugo. Yeah. Anyways, we're talking about Remy. Remy, the missing one of those missing characters that nobody ever pays attention to. And he wears a frock coat, and I'm ripping my pages. Because with passion, I just put a rip in my book. It's cool.
Oh, no.
It's fine. It's I have written it all over it. It's like not pristine. I don't need it to be pristine. Um, and they're talking. Okay, they're talking to the inspector. When we went in, we heard a voice saying someone was there. The managers could not help smiling. I'm just paraphrasing. Richard was not smiling at all. The inspector wanted to please the managers who were smiling, believed he too ought to smile. Unfortunate smile. I noted that because it was just a funny phrasing. Do you know what that says in your book? It's
Um,
my paragraph here. It starts with the inspector who wanted to please
so this is to
Moncharmin.
curry favor with Moncharmin, who was smiling. The house manager felt that he should smile too, but this was a mistake.
Hmm. This one is the inspector who wanted to please M. Moncharmin, who was smiling, believed he too ought to smile. Period. Unfortunate smile! Explanation point. So I thought that was funny. And the
Yeah.
box keeper, she says it's the Phantom of the Opera. Now bring her to me. Blah blah blah. So that's the end of basically the end of the chapters. They're calling for Madame Giry, who is very different here than in any other version, especially the musical.
Yeah.
Since he's everywhere, it is intolerable for him not to be seen anywhere. I want people who work for me. Wait, I want people who work for me to work. That's how my chapter ends. How does your chapter end?
I expect my staff to earn their wages.
That's it. Interesting.
Yep.
So that's the end of chapter 4. I feel like we should take a tiny little break, and this is the segment that I like to call Found a Phantom. Found a phantom, found a phantom, found a phantom. So I know you found many phantoms this week, but what's the last time you found a phantom when you weren't looking for one?
I don't know.
Well, I guess I don't have a visual here this week, but I guess my found a phantom this week is going to be that I went to go see John Wick 4, and there is 3 beautiful scenes filmed at the Palace Garnier, and it is some of the best footage of the Opera House that I've ever seen. Especially, I've never seen it on the big screen. I went to see IMAX just to see that. I mean, it was a fun movie if you like that kind of stuff, but oh man, the disappointing thing was there was no big like shootout fights in the Opera House. But
No.
to get the full effect, and I'm not going to spoil anything really, but there is an end of credit scene, and it is at the Opera House as well. So you got to stay till the very end to see all of it. But one of the
Okay.
characters basically like I don't know, he seems to live there. But unlike the Phantom where he is not seen, this guy is extremely seen, you know?
No.
So that's my found a Phantom. Uh Yeah, I know, but if I got 2 copies of every version of Phantom of the Opera that I owned, like, I wouldn't have space for it. I like the story Madame Giry gives about how the Phantom treats her and her daughter. He calls her Madame Jules. Yes, well, that's what we're gonna get to right now. Chapter 5, continuation of box number 5. Um, it starts with, having said that, M. Richard paid no further attention to the inspector and dealt with various matters with the administrator who came in just then. Here's a question. I've never seen pictures of the administration areas or offices of the Opera House. Do you even know where they are in the map of the Opera House?
They're
I'm
down,
thinking
like, towards the front, aren't they? Like, on the side?
I want to think that they're in near the Napoleon entrance. I guess I would call
Yeah.
it, right? But I could be wrong. I always wanted like can somebody find me like a detailed map of the Opera House because I'm buying books, I buy documentaries, and it's never quite what I want. Although it's all very nice. Um, I want to see these rooms, what these rooms look like. I know it's super nerdy, and they're probably the least interesting thing about the entire Opera House, but I want to visualize my story.
Yeah.
Um, the inspector thinking he, oh, I love this part. The inspector thinking he could go went slowly, slowly, oh, how slowly, towards the door. When M. Richard, seeing what he was up to, stopped him in his tracks, thundering, "Don't you budge." That's the end of paragraph 1. What does yours say?
It says that he moved towards the door slowly, slowly, oh so slowly, when suddenly M. Richard, noticing his maneuver, and nailed him to the spot with a cracking "Stay where you are."
Nice. I don't know if I like that better than "Don't you budge." They're both pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, at the insistence of Remy, the box attendant, who was also the concierge on the Rue de Provence, you know what we're gonna do when there's a reference to a place, right? We're gonna find it. And in particular, I found there was no specific address or cross street on this one. So I referred to the footnote on here about it that said Balzac once lived at number 24 Rue de Provence. So let's check it out. There it is.
Nice.
So she was the concierge there. What is it? A hotel?
Probably.
Oh, that's under construction over here. Can we see the Opera House from here? I don't think so. But it is still pretty close, I believe. Oops. Let me go back. So there we are. And where's the opera house? Yep, there's my little opera house. So it's pretty close. You see it?
Yeah.
So that's where Madame Giry's second job was, I guess. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, that woman works too hard. Uh, I'm the mother of little Giry, little Meg. You know, and of course they don't know, and they're very rude about not knowing, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Poor Madame Giry. They hurt her pride a little bit.
they really like are not having it with this woman. Who
Yeah.
did I miss her description, or was that earlier in the book where, like, she is not at all what we imagine her from other versions. She's kind of like a crazy old lady, basically.
Yeah.
This dirty, crazy old lady. Um, and so she basically is telling them that the Phantom is there, and they don't believe her, of course, because she's. And then they, at one point, actually gesture, not jester like the costume for Masquerade. Gesture like one of these, like she's crazy, you know. Um, what happened is that someone has irritated the Phantom again. So she had
She
discovered.
said, "Someone has upset the ghost again."
Oh, see, I feel like Ghost is more accurate to probably what LaRue wrote.
Yeah.
But because it's called Phantom of the Opera, they have to change it to Phantom, I guess. I'm not sure. I really want to talk to someone who's translating it. So I definitely gotta get in touch with Caitlin.
Yeah.
He has been heard by everyone. She herself has heard him often. Oh, here's another guy who's never in any versions. Isidore Sack,
Yeah.
whose leg the Phantom had broken. First of all, he's just got a funny name.
Yes,
And
he does.
then they're talking about what happened at a different occasion during a performance of Faust, right?
Yeah. Well, Isidore was making out with somebody else's wife while on her hand.
Right. Yeah. Here's more like how come we don't get this in any Phantom movies? Like more gossip. So let
Right?
me
Like,
go ahead.
all he did was out this guy who was messing around with somebody else's wife. Like, the Phantom didn't even do anything.
Right. So let me get this straight. The scene is that these what was it, a man two men and a woman are in this box,
Yeah.
right? And one of them is the husband and one of them is kissing up on her right next to the husband, and he's not noticing it until the Phantom whispers in his ear with his, throwing his
Mhm.
voice from the column, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
How
It
does he
sounds like
not
'cause he says,
how
"While
does
you
he not
play it
know this?
sleeping," for not paying
Oh,
attention. And then he said, "But your wife's not sleeping." Like,
he's in the cuck chair.
yeah.
I'm pointing it out as it is, right? But the Phantom, he's annoyed and he's messing with them. Uh, that's what, how to get tickets? I'd love to see a show there. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would.
Eric actually has some morals. Well, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
A little bit.
Yeah,
He didn't make
he
out with somebody else's wife.
right, like and they're in his box, so it's like
Yeah.
they're invading his space and
He has every right to
somebody's
kill them.
wife. Well, I don't think he kills them, but he does mess with them a little
But he
bit.
could. He'd be
He
justified.
could. If you believe, well, I guess he is a murderer, right? That's sort of a debate though, like how many people he actually murdered versus how many
Yeah.
people fell into his traps
Yeah.
and were killed by them indirectly, right?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning with what's his name? Bouquet.
Yeah.
Did he get caught in a trap or did the Phantom do it himself? Like that's we don't know.
Yeah, he really kinda leaves Eric's murders vague the whole time, like,
Yeah, I
did
kind
he
of
or did he
except
not?
for his past maybe is when he's definitely a murderer, right?
Yeah.
But then he was just doing his job. I guess.
It's okay, it was just work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're not to the Persia chapters yet.
No.
Where am I? Oh, this is interesting in my translation. I noticed in the first row that evening there were M. Maniera and his wife, the jewelers from Meg Mogador Street, which I don't know why it says street and not like rue or is there also streets in Paris? I thought they were. It
I
seems like a
I
error in the
this just says
translation.
Rue Mogador for me.
See, that's what I expected, but it actually
Yeah.
says street in my in this translation.
Huh.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, we're done with these maps. Oh, but of course I did pull up that street corner or that street. So let's check it out, right? Oops, that's Rue de Provence. Wrong link. Here we go. Again, like it's pretty close to the Opera House there. I guess they were
Yeah.
jewelers over here. Let's where's my street guy? Let's look at the street here. I don't know what corner it's on, but it's somewhere near the Lion King advertisement. Man, these streets seem to be really hard to drive in.
Yeah. Almost as bad as driving in New York.
I mean, New York's pretty terrible, but look at how small these streets are. And they're just like, I don't know. Doesn't seem fun.
No.
At least New York's a grid.
That's true.
This one just kind of like goes everywhere. It's like the Opera House and then just all sides.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so we checked that out. Cool, cool, cool. I wanted to pull up Madame Giry is singing here. Oh, where is it? Did I close it? Oh no, here it is. I don't know exactly what part, but Madame Giry does start singing Faust.
Yes.
It is from this scene if you want to look it up. Uh, Act 5, Scene 5. I don't know how familiar you are with Faust, but is this the right song that she's singing?
One sec.
Because I think this is not in English, so it's hard to type in the translation of the libretto. But it is Mephisto singing, so let's see. That's the beginning of the finale. So am I too far? Am I on the wrong track here?
Are you in Act 4? Yeah.
This is Act 5. Oh, it's Act 4.
Yeah.
Let's see. Act 4, Scene 5, right? Act. So, is it this one? Let's hope. Let's say it's this one. I don't know. I'm not as familiar.
I think you're close.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it up here, but there's Faust for you. She's singing Faust, and who knows how good she is because she's just a crazy old lady.
No.
Oh yeah, here it is. Ah, it's not Julie who's soundly sleeping. Yeah, so he's taunting them, and Jerry's singing and probably annoying them to no end. Uh, right. So this is where the one guy, the husband, stands up, and he's a big dude, and he punches Isidore Sack, right?
Yep.
Which now mine says Stack here, isn't it? Sack.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some issues with this. I mean, there's some spelling errors in this guy and some
Yeah.
grammar issues, I think. But I love the notations.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, what a scandal. But that's the line that I love. What does yours say? It says, "What a scandal." After a couple of blows.
Um,
It's right after she's singing the lines, and then the paragraph starts with, "At this point."
I don't know, this is very
No.
different.
Yeah. At this point, M. Menira turns, but this time it is in the direction of his wife and Isidore.
Did I go too far?
This is after Jiri singing, "Catherine, whom I adore, why do you refuse a lover who implores you for one sweet kiss?"
Yeah. So he turned and he saw him holding her hand and kissing it. It says, you can imagine that he was not gonna let that pass. Slap, slap.
It says slap, slap.
It does.
Wow. Interesting. But what does it say in place of "what a scandal," which is a full sentence in mine here?
There's not really a sentence
Huh.
like that.
Interesting. And then it's
Yeah.
the next sentence is, "Throughout the hall, there were cries of 'Enough, enough, he's going to kill him.'"
There was a
Finally, M.
stop him, he'll
Stack
kill
is
him.
able to escape. Again,
Yeah.
now it's back to Stack. Man, they need a proofreader on this guy. Leonard
Yeah.
Wolf, man, put your name on
Yeah.
it and everything. I wonder if I could get any of the translators on this show. Has anyone ever tried to reach out to any of these people?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. Does anyone know Leonard Wolf? Just putting it out there. So then she's saying he broke it. She broke the Phantom breaks his leg on the grand staircase down where M. Isidore was going so hastily. So basically he fell down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And they blame the ghost.
right here. I
Yep.
don't need Google Maps for that. This is where Isidore's sack fell over and broke his leg.
Yep.
As clearly as I speak to you, dear sir, when asked if she had spoken to the Phantom, he tells me to bring him a little footstool. What do you think about the footstool? Is this
I
implying anything, or is he just want to be comfortable?
I like kind of how it fits into his gender being sort of ambiguous throughout the book.
Hmm.
Where he's
Speak
not
to
really
me
like
about
nailed
that. Yeah.
well, he's not really nailed down to a specific gender. And so like maybe he wanted the footstool for himself, or maybe he's just playing at having a wife and just wants to like feel like, "Oh, I have a lady." You
Right, because
know.
there's a reference to a fan as well in this chapter.
Yeah. But, he doesn't have a lady. So it's either for him or he's just like playing pretend like, "Oh, let I want them to think I have a lady."
No,
Eric is not
Emily
entirely
says, "No,
masculine.
Eric is masculine." I mean, it doesn't
He's not
necessarily say
though.
that, does it?
It doesn't. His gender is very
He's
fluid throughout the
he's
book.
skeletal.
Yeah.
He's identifies as skeleton. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, going further into that, I believe in the Lost chapter, she finds a vampire novel or something like that he's reading in the box. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't have the Lost chapter.
Oh, have you never read this?
I
It's
know some of the
pretty
contents in it, but,
it's not
no.
very important to anything in the book. Obviously, it doesn't need to be there, but
Yeah.
I believe
I know for sure that it talks about the first payment that was made to him.
oh, I don't remember that. I have to read it again, but oh yeah, it does. I believe somewhere in here they find or they talk about him. Something else he leaves in there is like a vampire like novel or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've read it, Eric. Yeah, yes, it's true. He reads a vampire novel. So we'll get to that in chapter 11. But I just while we're talking about things he leaves around his box, I believe one of them is a vampire novel, and
I love that.
he's on his footstool. You think he just like hangs out there like when nobody's there, when the theater's empty too, just like read his vampire novel?
I mean, why not?
right? I
He's
mean, he's
gotta do
got.
something
I wonder
besides,
what that inside of that column is
fine.
like. Here's it. Oh, well, if we want to ruminate on that a little bit, am I saying that right? Is that a correct word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, check this out. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back to here, right? And we can find out. Well, let's stand in the box as close as we can, right? So, okay, we're in the whatever box this is. This is
And we're
more or
just
less.
sitting reading vampire
Yeah, this is
novellas.
more or less his view. But I want to see.
This
You can. Yeah.
this is where I would sit to read my vampire novellas.
I mean, it is a nice little view. You can see the full orchestra and everything. So let's go down. Let's go from here straight down is a hallway. A lot of this Google map is just hallways. And then I'm guessing this is the same columns or where he would be about. So he's
Yeah.
climbing through these walls right here. This is negative the first basement and then this is below that. So I'm not sure how that relates exactly. Maybe Google Maps isn't exactly lined up, but maybe this wall here somewhere,
Yeah.
right? And then you can go to the lake somewhere, but it's not directly accessible from this. You ever seen the lake on Google Maps?
No.
Oh my God, it's so. Oh man, you got to see this. Let's see. Garnier Lake Google Maps. I need to bookmark this. Yeah, here it is. It's so cool. Blah blah blah. Just give me the link. So check. Oh wait, opened up in a new tab. So this is Google Maps of the lake.
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah, I mean you can walk around in it and everything. It's pretty.
That's so cool.
I mean, not. I don't know if it's all of it or just this tiny like portion of it. So there's the staircase that goes down from the. I believe the room we were just in.
Yeah.
Um. Oops. Oh, now we're outside for some reason. I clicked
Ooh.
too far. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if you can really, you know, that's it. That's the lake on Google Maps. How cool is that? So his house
Very
is
nice.
somewhere in here, like right below the stage. So, yeah, that's fun. It's one of my favorite things on Google. Okay, we're gonna finish this chapter because it's been almost 2.5 hours. You must be exhausted of this.
Well, I do have to go in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's our limit.
Yeah.
Found out from a fellow fan, Lady Ghost, who's one of the few that have been granted rare access to see the areas where the lake is. Ah, can I talk to Lady Ghost? They do fire training in there. Yeah, they train firemen in there for swimming with no light or whatever that training is. Okay, back to the book. We talk about the footstool. Instead of laughing at the phantom, she cried, offended. You would do better to be like M. Poligny. I cannot pronounce that guy's name. Who realized it for himself. Um, so he's saying fuck around and find out, basically, right?
Basically.
Yeah. And they do in the next chapter, I believe.
Yeah.
And she's still singing, she's still saying her little story. This is a story where they are performing La Juve. Do you know anything about this musical? Or this a
No.
musical
Not that
opera?
opera,
Duh.
no. Other than it's an opera.
Well, that's it. If you want to read about it. Um, yep. It's a real footnote here.
Apparently, it was the first ever opera performed there.
Oh, so that's cool. That's a good fact. So what she's singing from this is from Act 2, Scene 4, which I believe is this right here. I don't know much about it, but again, I don't know what portion she's singing. And we'll leave this on in the background while we're talking. How about that?
Okay.
Um, all right, I get it. Blah blah blah. So, what's this story? Right, so she's talking about the old managers when they went into the box and they just heard him fucking with them
Yeah.
too, basically, right?
Yep.
And he walked out. He was paler than a corpse. And we're not talking about the Phantom there. We're talking about the ex-managers. The story of Poligny had made Mon Chairman shake his head. And then we talk about the stool again. Is your Phantom a woman then? No, the Phantom is a man. How do you know? He has a man's voice, a man's beautiful voice. So
That too kind of
that's her
lends to the
interpretation.
gender. She doesn't know other than she's heard
Right.
his voice and has assumed, well, he sounds like a man, so he must be a man. But when people hear him as the siren, they think it's a woman's voice. So,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. I do like the siren. That's something else they've never put in a sound movie.
Yeah.
It's in the silent one where you can't get the effect of what's actually happening, but I understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Don't be frightened. It's me, the Phantom of the Opera. So he's very calming to her. The voice was sitting in the first chair of the first row on the right, except that there was no one there to be seen sitting in the chair. Box number 7, like box number 3 on the left, was not yet occupied. It was still the beginning of the performance. And then she said, I brought the footstool. Evidently, the footstool he asked for was for his lady and not for him. As for her, I never saw nor heard her. So I don't know if this is just her perception of it or if she has other insider knowledge.
Yeah. This is just, I think she's just assuming, like, well, it must be for his lady.
Right. And oh, this is where they just her that she's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, he always gives me 40 soup piece. Sometimes he would give me 10 francs. Now she's talking about her tips and that she's not getting her tips because he's been pissed off. So she's mad. Like, don't mess with this lady's bag, yo, right? And well, he leaves it on the railings of the box. Once I found a fan they left behind, so now that's the fan. One time it was a box of English candies. And basically now they're like, this woman's crazy, get her off my staff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of the chapter. That
Yep.
was our like 10 pages in about 2 hours. So I wanted to talk about another phantom that I found. I found another phantom, although here it is. I went to a convention. You ever been to any conventions? Do you go into that scene at all?
I went to a convention once where I presented on Phantom.
What was that?
It was a while ago in 2015, but I did an hour-long panel on the history of Phantom.
Nice. Wait, what was the convention?
It was a Rocket City NerdCon.
Right, yeah. There was a lot of nerdy people here, although it was mostly a goth industrial music convention. But there was lots of vendors, and I ran into my friend. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher her name, and I'm so sorry. Let me. Al, and she's a friend of mine, but she has a very hard to pronounce an English name. Almudena, I think I said that correctly, is a big Phantom of
Okay.
the Opera fan, and I ran into her there, and she found this. And I was there as a photographer, so I took this picture. And then
Nice.
later on, and I wanted to showcase again, I think I've showed it here before. Um, I have this painting that she did. Well, it's a print of her painting of the Phantom's lair, and she does other Phantom related. I know it's kind of glare here, but check out her website. Maybe I'll try to put it in the description. But yeah, support art, and this is an original piece. She likes to do Phantom art. And then so I countered it, and I found this at the convention. This
Nice.
coffin-shaped pin, which I did not know until I took home. I don't know if I can show here, but it actually I don't know how to do it. It glows in the dark. It's cool. I swear to God, it glows and I didn't know that until I turned the lights off in my room, and I was like, whoa. So I can add that to my glow in the dark like Phantom collection. There's a couple action figures I have that glow in the dark.
That's awesome.
So that's what I found. It's wherever you go, you're finding phantoms, or at least I am. Um, Emily says her name is Sandra. It's an opera. What are we talking about? What's a beautiful opera?
That was,
La
yeah.
Juve. La Juve.
So, I mean, as far as using falsetto or referring to him as a voice actor, which is a very modern take, that could be what's going on, or it might not be because this is pretty common in Gothic novels like this to have the gender between the monster in particular be pretty ambiguous. So you could
Mhm.
think of it like that, but you can also think of it the other way, and it's perfectly valid.
Yeah, I think that's a fine argument to be had. Is there anything else that we should talk about Phantom of the Opera that we missed?
Oh no.
I, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
Um, tell people where to find you. Wait, let me pull up your website, right?
Ah,
Do you have a
yes.
Tumblr as well, or
I do. I am C Daae on Tumblr.
okay? And what kind of stuff do you post there?
I don't
Is it
use it
Phantom
as much
stuff?
anymore for personal stuff. I mostly
Hmm.
just repost clips or photos of actors in the productions.
So mostly Broadway, like, or musical adjacent Phantom stuff.
Mostly musical stuff, yeah.
And
I've got
oh
a lot
yeah,
of
do you want to talk about the Discord?
the Discord is a Phantom of the Opera Discord for ages 13 and up. We haven't had game nights in a while because everyone's been busy, but we do game nights sometimes. We do streams of different adaptations or just different like actors in the Andrew Lloyd Webber one. And we have channels for all things Phantom and general channels, and Ghost Band is there
There's a
too.
lot on there. I try to keep up,
There's a lot.
but you're mostly on Tumblr, right?
Ayo, collector
I'm
check.
mostly on
Show
TikTok.
the most
TikTok, that's
expensive
what I
item
mean.
in
Yeah.
your collection,
What's
the
that?
least expensive item in
It
your
is a
collection.
replica of Christine's Love Never Dies dress.
Oh, wow. Uh-oh, I lost it. I don't know how to use
Oh,
TikTok.
The item everyone
Oh.
wants to steal when they see your
You
collection.
have the
The
Barbies?
item that's least likely
I
to be
do.
had by any other collector. Your first item in your collection. The newest item in your collection. The strangest item in your
I have that.
collection. And
I
your
hate it.
Pretty
favorite
terrible.
item in your collection.
What's worse, Grindhouse or Angel of Music?
Can there be a secret third option, which is the Argento Phantom?
No, that's way better than all of those
No,
two. I mean, listen, it's not a good Phantom movie, but it's not Angel of Music.
that's true. Phantom of the
I mean,
Grindhouse
at least
genuinely
he is
is
a
my
very
least
he's
favorite.
still a good director, even though if it was a terrible Phantom adaptation,
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, well, if you like Argento at all, I'd argue that Opera is a better Phantom of the Opera than his Phantom of the Opera.
yeah. But no, Grindhouse is actually my least favorite out of all of the versions.
It's pretty
It's
terrible.
awful.
Yeah.
It's
I'd almost wanna like interview whoever wrote and made Angel of Music just to see what their perspective of it is. I haven't watched
that
it
would
since it
be
came out, but I
cool.
just remember like just so I don't know. Is it supposed to be that bad? I don't. It's almost like a distant memory of a nightmare. Like I remember this, and why I, did it really exist? And then I look at my
It's not
DVDs
even
and I'm
that
like, yes,
bad
it
to
really
me.
did
Like
exist.
other than the incest, it's not even that bad. It's just like the
I don't
non-existent
remember.
budget, the incest.
Well, I mean, my previous guest, um, I've talked so much now. I'm just forgetting everyone's names. Big John Creations. Where is he?
Ryan?
Brian. Yeah, yeah. He he had no budget, and that came out like better than those movies.
That's true. That's true. If you have a
So,
competent team working on your thing, you can
and
make
they were
something
like
pretty decent.
19 when they made that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the
But
best, but like for what it is, it's good.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, Angel of Music is but I'm really interested in that one because like they published a book about like making it, but that book has completely vanished. You can't find it anywhere. And
Really.
so like there's information
Do you
missing
have
and
it?
it'd be cool if we could find it. Hmm?
Oh, I wasn't aware of it. I guess I didn't follow up on it as much. I didn't know there was
Yeah.
a like more than just the movie there. Do you think the story of making it is more interesting than the movie? Like it's
I
more
don't
like the room
know.
situation?
Yeah. I don't know because like I've never found a copy of the book. I know it existed, but can't find it anywhere.
What is it called, do you know?
It's something like The Making of Angel of Music or something. Like it's something that's not quite right, but it's along those lines.
Hmm.
I'd have to find it again, but
Yeah,
it
that'd be
existed at
interesting.
one
I don't
point.
know. I don't want to be offensive though. Like, does he know that it's bad, that people hate it? Like, I don't want him to cry, but at the same time, I'd be interested in like, how did this happen?
You could just bring him on for a roast session. That would be fun.
I know we can just get all the Phantom fans here to like, oh man, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know
Thank
if
you
it's
for that
that bad.
information. I'd have to rewatch it. I haven't probably watched it. When did it come out? 15 years ago?
2009.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since then, but it's sitting in my collection. Well, thank you for the
Yeah.
info,
Every now
Emily.
and then I stream it from my server and make people sit through it.
Well, maybe next time I can join. I don't know how that works. I'm sort of new to Discord. I mean, I use it
You
once in a
are in the
while,
ser
but
I just remembered that you're in the server.
I am in the yeah, yeah. I don't check it very often though, because I'm in a bunch
Yeah.
of different Discords, and if I start looking at one, I'm a completist, and then it takes me hours to like catch up on every Discord that I'm in, and then every conversation in every Discord is just like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. If you want to definitely do this again, we can skip all the background info next time and then just get straight to
Yeah.
the book, you know. But you are a self-proclaimed historian, and I I think that's valid, and I like to have your insight here. And
Thank you for
okay,
having me.
there are. Oh my God, where are my flyers for my upcoming shows? Hold on, I gotta do that before we end. That's the last thing at least. But I
Of
gotta
course.
find them in my slideshows here. We got some really cool stuff coming up. Well, this month, next week, possibly, I believe. Let's see if it's in this one. Well, let me ask you this. Have you played Return of the Phantom?
I've tried to. I'm not very good at it.
It's hard. It's a hard game. Um,
It is.
which I have on old floppy disks from the 90s.
Wow.
I actually did buy this in the store. And I don't know if these I don't even know if you can use these things anymore, but you remember these floppy disks?
I
Yes,
don't really those are a little bit before my time, but wow.
there's information in here. Yeah. And
That's
yeah, and
so
it
cool.
comes with a little this is interesting. This is supposed to be a little book by Meg Giry in this universe, and
Nice.
it's like only a few pages long. Um, but what it was really for, like there's some cool little illustration here.
Yeah.
What it was really used for was so that people, when you started the game, so it wouldn't be bootlegged, you'd actually have to, it would ask you a question that you'd need this book to reference to answer so you could actually play the game so that people
Nice.
wouldn't just copy these for each other. You'd have to actually copy the book too if you were. Anyways, it's on Steam now, but only on PC.
The Steam is where I have it.
Well, I bought it on Steam and then I realized I couldn't play it because I use a Mac.
Aw.
But oh no, where's my flyer? Oh, this is embarrassing. Let me just pull it up on Dropbox. I apologize. What I'm leading up to is that on April 17th, we're going to be talking to the guy who wrote and designed this game, Return of the Phantom. So it'll be an Angel of Music situation. Like, dude, why? How did this happen? I have so many questions.
That's so cool.
If there's so much walking in the game, why is there not a grand staircase? Right?
Aw.
But before I interview him, and can't believe I don't have this in my slideshow. But me and I don't know if she's still here. I think we lost everyone at this point. I'm gonna do a playthrough of the game with Becky Laugh, who does have a PC and a Twitch. So we're gonna play the game and comment on it. It's probably gonna be a really long show. So Saturday, April 15th, just like if you want to hang out for a couple hours here and talk Phantom, and she's never played the game before. She didn't even actually know it existed. So this is going to be a lot of fun for me to watch, and I'll guide her through it. So like, it won't take that long, but I do want her to talk to Degas painting ballerinas and all that stuff. Like he's a real creeper in this game. He's like, I don't know if you ever talked to Degas painting ballerinas in this game, but yeah, he's he's into the little girls, I'll tell you that much. It's pretty weird.
Yikes.
And you do get to climb through the column. So all my questions about where the column goes is totally answered in Return of the Phantom, which I don't know how much it is accurate to the Opera House, but we're gonna see. This man is most famous for being the only American officially hired to write James Bond novels.
Oh, wow.
So that's what he's most famous for. But somewhere on the side, he designed and wrote this game, Return of the Phantom. So that's happening. And with that, I am concluding this show. So thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody who has been here, joined in on the chat, and or are watching it later. Like, share, subscribe. Help me defeat the algorithm. It's a constant battle. If you're watching this right now, give it a like, give it a subscribe, make a comment, just like help. And okay, I think we did it.
Yay.
Let's do this again sometime. Do you have a favorite chapter of the book? Maybe we'll bring you back for like your favorite part.
Oh, no.
You can think about it. You don't have to
I'll have
answer
to
now.
think about it.
Think
That's
about it.
hard.
Yeah. Okay, great. Come back next week. It's Return of the Phantom month, and in between, the Phantom will be closing on Broadway.
Oh,
So it's the playthrough, the closing, which I will not be there for, and then we'll be talking to the designer of the game the next day. So we have a day in between to cry. Okay, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.
Like, share, subscribe.